Welcome, little one. This is your first day. Your designation will be RP-01/138. We expect great things from you. You have been born into dangerous times. A sharp mind can be the key to survival. But as often as not, it will be your inherent physical traits that win the day. And in this regard, you will be superior to your more common brethren. For you are a commando, an elite unit, something truly special. Your weapons, your armor, and most importantly, your brothers.
Men, listen up.
Delta Squad, form up.
Forming up, boss.
What is up, my fellow Republic Commandos? It is your boy Trey of the Bat Channel. We are back once again live in a galaxy far, far away. We are going to be breaking down the latest episode of Disney Plus's Star Wars The Acolyte, Episode 7, titled Choice. Oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about. If you guys saw our watch party, our reaction was our reaction. I had some time to think about it. I've still been dealing with this cold, so you hear me chewing on a cough drop now. I know I shouldn't be chewing on it, but we're gonna break it down. We're gonna try to be, I don't know. We'll see how everyone feels about it when we discuss it with everyone on our panel today. My reaction, I'll tell you, it stayed about the same. There were a few details I noticed I missed during our watch party. I was paying attention to the show and the chat. I'll tell you right now, it didn't fix the details I found. Didn't fix anything. In fact, they actually made my criticism a little harsher. So it'll be interesting to see. Replay crew, if you're watching it, comment throughout your thoughts. Even if you like the show, I always say, if you like the show and you love it, I'm happy for you. You're paying for the Disney Plus subscription. I hope you enjoy the products that you're paying for. But if you're not, be honest about it, be fair about it, because they need to know. I'm not happy with this show. I think in my opinion, this was one of the most important episodes of this entire show because we got the answers that we were looking for. That we always said ever since episode 3, we got to wait. We only got half the story here. Well, now we got the other half. Still unsatisfied with it. And maybe that was the point. Maybe they were trying to make us unsatisfied. But I don't think they hit their target of where they were going with this. So without further ado, guys, let's go through all the pleasantries. As you know, you can follow us on one of our many social media pages like TikTok, Instagram, Twitter at _Bat Channel, or if you're still on Facebook at Holy Bat Channel. And it helps us out so much when you smash that like, you share this video, subscribe if you haven't already. Join the battalion, become part of our community as we talk about many other things like Star Wars, Disney, Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, Godzilla, Batman, DC, a whole bunch of entertainment. We got some really cool shows coming up for you guys, like our Gladiator 2 trailer reaction. Wonder Wife is going to be joining me for that. Batman Caped Crusaders, which is going to be coming out on Amazon Prime soon. Super stoked for that anime show. And tomorrow, we are going to be doing our Twister watch party where, obviously we can't show the movie because Warner Brothers and Universal would shut this stream down. But if you have HBO Max, if you have it on digital, it just released in 4K. We're going to be watching it together, having a theatrical experience. So it'll be a good time. And also, more importantly, we're going to be raising money. All of our super chats that we get during that stream are all going to go to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund. So make sure you guys join us for that. If you do the super chats, we're just going to put it right over there to help those who have been dealing with tornadoes. This past year, it's been pretty bad. So we'd love to help out our fellow Midwesterners who have been dealing with that. But without further ado, guys, let me bring out the best co-host I could ever ask for. Super Bro Corey, how you doing, man?
I'm here so I won't get fined. 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 I'm just here so I won't get fined.
I'm here so I won't get fined. What's up,
Yeah,
buddy?
I had a feeling, Corey, you weren't able to join us for a watch party, but I almost felt like that may have been a bit of a blessing because I feel like your reaction was probably worse than mine. Just based on how I've been gauging how you feel about this show so far.
The bits and pieces that I did see of that stream, yeah. I was yelling at the TV at some point, some parts, and then this is going to be a little spicy. I feel like today, like I'm not just mad at the writers anymore. I'm not mad at Leslie. Well, I'm mad at the writers and Leslie Headland still, but I'm working my way up the food chain now. I'm about to pull an Acolyte Karen. Let me talk to the manager. Let me talk to Dave manager.
That'll be interesting. I'm curious to see what you say about that because I kind of seen a bit of a change too in at least social media's thoughts about Dave Filoni, which is weird. I feel like it did a 180 because of this show, which that just shows you how damaging this show has been.
Oh yeah,
for the majority of the Star Wars community.
I question if he's able to lead the Star Wars going forward.
Ooh.
That, if he approved this show, which they say he did, yeah.
Interesting. I'm curious to hear what you have to say about that. We might disagree on it, but we'll see. I don't know. I don't know. Episode 7. Do you agree, Corey? In your thoughts, was this the most important episode?
We had to see what happened there. So I think it probably was one of the most important episodes. I'm gonna say it right now. Episode 3 sucked sucked major ass. That's when we started to, kind of hate on it a little bit. And this episode 7 was basically a rewatch of episode 3 with a little bit extra, stuff. So it's like, oh boy, great, yay, we got to go back through this shit again. So, this one was important, and I'm excited to talk about it with you guys.
I am too. So let's go ahead and bring out our other member of the Delta Squad, who's going to help us break down this episode. Who's honestly, he's helped me quite a bit throughout this entire show to find things to appreciate about it, to maybe respect and understand a little more, because he looks at it a little differently. But let's go ahead and bring out our boy Jay. How's it going, my man?
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me back. Thanks for that intro. I do see things differently, but it's not helping it either.
Well, you at least are putting. I mean, Corey, we're brothers. We come from the same place. We tend to have similar opinions on things. I mean, he is older, so he does. We do argue and pick on each other on certain things, but I feel like for the most part, we kind of have similar approaches of how we look at it. And you're able to add a bit of a different flair to that, so that's why I really appreciate it. But it seems you're also getting similar reactions to us, maybe even for some different reasons. Do you think episode 7 was, so far of what we've seen, next episode is the finale, was this the most important episode of the season?
I would say it's a crucial episode. I wouldn't say it's the most important.
Oh, okay. At this point, what would you say is the most important episode?
I think probably when was the episode when they threw down? Was that episode 5?
I think that was episode. Yeah, with the Sith fighting. I think
that would probably be the most important episode. Just because that's when the antagonists and the protagonists collided, and that's the moment where all the stakes should have been realized and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I say should have, because I don't like how they're handling this story. And you said Dave Filoni improved this?
He approved it. Yeah, like according to the writers, especially from the writer of, I think it was episode 3, right, that we were talking about, or maybe it was episode 5 actually, where the writer had said that Dave Filoni has reviewed all the scripts for this season of the Acolyte, and he has approved them. The scripts, the story, everything involved with it.
Because I suspect this show has been changed during shooting production. So it's possible they got his blessing early on, and then while I was in production, they do changes.
Okay, so let me ask you guys this. I know we kind of bring it up, Dave Filoni. We're starting to tease a couple of things. What's up, Tim? Good to see Tim. And Comic Book Craig's my man. Do you guys want to save the Dave Filoni discussion at the end after we break down this episode, or do you guys feel like you want to get into that now?
I'm good with the end.
The end?
Yeah, probably the end.
Cool. All right. Well, Corey, first off, before we go into our episode 7 choice breakdown, can you say hello to everyone to the chat for us?
Yeah, buddy, it's popping in there already. We got Kaiji Crazy Craig Rowland, King Donkey Kong, Wayne Enterprises, Oracle's Clock Tower, Red Hooded Outlaw, Beyond the Night, The Butler, Carrie Kelly, The Batman Who Laughs, 9 Lives in Hell here, A Joker's Wild, Atomic Kaiji 1954, Akio Lee, hashtag Restore the Snyderverse Guy, Red Robin, Trevor H, Dean Classified Monarch Eyes Only. We had Giratina's Rising Renegades, formerly Avengers Rising. We have Tim's Talk. We have Comic Book Craig Movies. And we got people filing in left and right, Trey.
Cool. Guys, it's so great to see you all here in the chat hanging out with us. I appreciate it. And thank you for being so patient. I know this show was originally supposed to happen Thursday, and we pushed it back so much just because I haven't been feeling well. So I feel like I'm starting to get on the better half of it, but I just appreciate all of our battalion, our Delta squad, being patient with me as I've just, there's some days I was just like, I couldn't even talk, and I was like, I'm gonna get my rest. So always put your health first.
Yes, please.
Guys, let's go ahead. Let's not waste any more time. Let's just go right into episode 7, choice. And we knew based off the last episode, Soul was going to basically he was going to lay it all out in front of May. He was going to tell her everything that went down, and more importantly, his side of it. So we knew this was going to be the flashback episode. We're going back to Brendok 16 years in the past, but rather than Osha and May, we're getting the Jedi's point of view, right? And they're investigating this mysterious vergence going on a planet that they suspected to be lifeless. For 100 years, it was categorized as there's nothing going on here. It's a dead planet. In a weird way, this kind of episode in the beginning, or at least why the Jedi are there, felt a little Star Trek-y. Going from planet to planet, investigating, figuring out what's going on, and just putting it into the records. But you can tell they're searching for something. They sense something. But we get a feeling just based off some of the emotional expressions from Padawan Tobin, who we know from episode 2. He committed suicide because of whatever happened on this dark couple of days, and he's feeling depressed. He's feeling homesick. They've been investigating this planet for 7 weeks that was considered lifeless due to a hyperspace disaster. But he says if he knew the purpose of why we're here, because it feels unimportant, meaningless, and of course they tell him they're on a noble mission. We're studying and finding out about this vergence. What's your thoughts about Tobin kind of having this, like, he just wants to go home? He's a Jedi, and you could say during peacetime there hasn't been a Sith for over 900 years. And this is the life. What do you think they're trying to convey by this? Like, for an audience that has grown up being so, in awe of what it means to be a Jedi, we're seeing this kid, this Padawan, resent it. He's like, what am I doing here? This is pointless. Like, why am I doing this? I just want to go home. What's your thoughts about seeing that kind of take of a Jedi, where their work, their existence at this point seems meaningless and unpurposeful? Koj, your thoughts?
I think Tobin is the most artistic representation of any truth in this show. He is representing all the Star Wars fans and the pure understanding of the Force and Star Wars lore and being a Jedi. And he's like, why am I in this show? I really want to get away and go home. There's no point to this. There's a drive here. I can't see it. We're just going in circles. And his only answer was to get out of there real quick, take a little just so. He represents the audience. We should have left on episode 2 when he did. So that's his whole meaning, really.
Wow. Okay, so you think just
there's no merit, because if he was truly a Jedi, he'd be excited for this, because this is a time to learn in the field. He wouldn't be impatient like this. Impatient stuff is like things he would have squashed early on in Jedi training, because this is the basics of what it means to be a Jedi that in this age he's missing. Come on now.
It definitely shows his immaturity in the role, for sure.
Yeah, such at his level, because they train you early on, it wouldn't have been there. This could have been a problem in probably Jedi kindergarten, but not now in senior high school level, I guess.
Okay,
that's how I'm seeing it.
Dude, Koj, that's exactly right. That's exactly what I was thinking, man. Like, this kid would have been phased out, a decade before we got to this point. He's impatient. He, just a whiny little brat. good on the Acolyte for making somebody more whinier than Anakin. Of course, the sin is coarse. That's how it's like, man, this kid is an idiot. I literally said, I was like, hey, at least you're not on Tatooine or like some desert planet.
Oh my gosh.
That could have been great.
Well, okay, so let me ask this: does anyone find it interesting though that the Jedi didn't tell him why they were there in the first place? Because he says maybe if I knew what we were doing here, I would understand the importance of it. And they're like, well, we're on a noble mission to study a virgins of the Force, and whenever there's a concentration of the Force, we have to go seek it out and see what's happening.
Nope, I think they told him, he just forgot.
I don't think the Jedi really work in that type of secrecy. Like the times they do, it's rare, which is what we saw in Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, when they said, hey, we want you to look on Palpatine. It's unheard of. This isn't the ways of Jedi. I don't think the Jedi work in terms of secrecy. That's a new thing from Disney Star Wars, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, that's some all really good points. And I would actually agree with you guys on a lot of those, because it does seem weird to... I mean, clearly, what does he think they're taking samples for? They're on this planet that was said to be lifeless, and now here they are seeing life. Why wouldn't you be curious about that?
Which isn't that kind of interesting? Why were they looking around the planet? Why were they using metal detectors? Why were they digging stuff up? And they kind of mentioned how this thread of Force, this virgins, created all this, potential of life here. And, look at that, Tatooine looked like freaking hell, sand, coarse sand, and, and that's where Anakin was. So it's they're trying to show that, their, Force babies are cooler, able to be more.
Yeah. Well, one thing I did find particularly kind of interesting about this opening scene, is Indara's and Soul's relationship. They don't seem to be really ever eye to eye, and almost Indara's kind of condescending to Soul throughout. She senses this disturbance, his unbalance, and even kind of calls him out on it. She's like, hey, I don't need you talking to my Padawan. You are seeking to comfort him. And she's like, and I'm trying to teach him to be independent, to seek answers by himself. What do you think what they're trying to convey with Soul there? We constantly have talked about Soul having these connections, this nurturing nature to him, like Qui-Gon Jinn had in a way, and he's always kind of he is he's there to comfort people. He wants to, but he kind of comes at him personally with it. Don't put your personal, anxieties onto my students. Let them be. What do you take between their relationship together, Koj?
I could take it that Soul is more of a compassionate Jedi, and sorry, I'm bad at names. The Trinity Jedi, what's her name?
Indara.
So Indara, I think she would be like the strict to the book Mace Windu logic. And I just take it at that they are two Jedi Masters who have a different philosophy as being teachers of the Force. And I think it's really that professional, different outlook that's in collision. Because we do see compassionate Jedi and more by the book Jedi. I would give him that, because I would argue Yoda is a good balance of compassionate and by the book, and they're one or the other. That's how I'm taking it with what they're giving us.
Subaru, your thoughts on Indara's and Soul's relationship?
Man, I hated it. It just kind of continued to show that the writers are trying to break down the Jedi, that they're misguided, misled. They made Master Trinity, and they've been increasingly making Master Soul look like an idiot or, part of the problem and everything like that. So their attempt to take down the Jedi and the honor of the Jedi is, the entire point of this show. So, I'm a Sith guy, and I have a tendency to like the bad guys, and here I am in the Coruscant Jedi, chamber council chambers here because I'm just following suit where the bad guys are.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it is. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely fair. I definitely found their relationship kind of. I don't know. To me, it just made Soul unusual. In Darla, she just kind of seems like strict, stern, and like you kind of said, kind of that Mace Windu-y type. With Soul, they keep peeling back the layers to him, and I keep asking, why is he like this? Why is he making the decisions? Why is he reacting the way he is sometimes? And we'll definitely talk about it, because I feel like Lee Jung-jae, there is some reactions that he had with his character during playing it that I felt like were sometimes over the top, and I could only take that based off the other projects I've seen him work on, is that was a directorial choice. They wanted him to overreact to make a point of the audience going like, well, whoa, what's he thinking there? What's going on? So keep that in mind as we kind of discuss a little further. But they need to split up. Soul takes a speeder bike to investigate the Northlands. It comes upon the Bunta tree that we saw in episode 3 with the girls, and discovers the force-wielding twins, or thread-wielding twins, however you want to look at it, Osha and May. And we were talking about how it's kind of creepy. He was like just watching them from the corner, and then we see Mother Coral comes to grab him, and she's just like, you guys shouldn't be out here. You're going to be punished. There will be consequences. And he overreacts. He kind of goes, oh my God, that sounds like they're abusing them. You kind of you get that feeling that he's immediately, I know how he kind of said, like, what warranted Soul to have these types of responses? And this was a particular moment that I kind of missed in our watch party, but it made me hate it more now that I noticed it, because it was like, why is he going harder on it? Like why did a simple, like, hey, you know the rules, you're not supposed to be out here, alone, like there will be consequences. That doesn't, to me, like as a parent, that doesn't sound anything you haven't heard to a kid being disciplined, right? But Soul has this overreaction that, like, oh my God, these girls are in danger, they're gonna be punished, And what was your guys'? Did you happen to notice that response from him, that like simply for breaking the rules of leaving the Coven's walls, these girls there's gonna be consequences? Did that warrant his response of, these girls are in danger, sound the alarm?
No, it didn't. They just pretty much turned Soul into like a over-the-top angry Karen. Seeing like some kid being, disciplined by their parent, and then overreacting, going over the top, which in this Star Wars day and age doesn't make any sense, and it is victim of a lot of bad writing. So I can see that they're trying to tell a story where Soul witnessed something that convinced him the kids' lives were in danger, where the Jedi needs to intervene, and that moment wasn't there. I can see that they were trying to go for that, but they didn't write the story there. If there's some thing where they're in danger, like the mother being abusive or physically showing some danger or threat, then yes, but that didn't happen. Because if they did that, that would villainize the witches that they're trying to turn into heroes. Because that is a main narrative too. So if they did make them look more like strict, violent villains, then Soul would be justified to go, oh my gosh, they're abusing them, they're whipping them, or whatever like that. But if it's just a score like, you're going to get in trouble, there's consequences for your actions, you're going to have to do some chores and get in the corner, that's fine. I mean, that's normal, But for him, he's like, oh no, they're abusing the kids. Ugh. That's way ridiculous. And it was something more traumatic visually and evil looking, then yes, but it wasn't there. And it wasn't there, and he was reacting as if it was there, and then you get the bad writing there, and it's like, oh gosh. Now, the actor may not have even seen what he was looking at, because the way they shot it, they could have just done him without the other actors in place. Because the other scenes we see there, you could CGI put that in there where he's looking at him, or stand and look at the actors while they do that. Because I feel like a lot of these scenes were shot with actors, minimal actors on set sometimes. I think the whole witch thing was big because, because that whole set thing where they were on facing the witches, that was probably their biggest ensemble on set that they were able to do. So they probably should have told the actor Lee Jung-jae, sorry, screw his name again. No, but they probably told our actor Lee that, hey, you saw something terrible. And he's like, okay, I'm going to act like it, because he's providing the acting of seeing something horrible, but in the story we did not see it, and then it makes him look like he's delusional and passionately delusional, probably in the right place, but I don't know. It's like he's
it makes
angry.
His obsession with Osha look sinister. In a sense.
Yeah, and very projected, and without having any merit to go, oh my gosh, our lives are in danger. It's like, well, bro, you're making stuff up and tripping yourself out. Why are you doing that to yourself?
Yeah, I agree. Corey, your thoughts about Soul's reaction? Does it warrant the reaction he overhears of the conversation with Coral and the twins, saying how there will be consequences?
It's a great question that she asked, Trey, and I'm conflicted on this. I'm going to say yes, that he did have a valid concern, and it's sad that I'm going to have to, put this together, how I figured it out in my head. They say that Master Soul is able to read these minds of people and everything like that. So he would have been able to read the minds of the people there, what's going on. And he could have been like, okay, there's some concern going on. There's definitely some valid concern here. A little bit later, when they're testing May talks about how they're, Mama said that there's going to be a sacrifice, and like different things like that, there's some major red flags of what May's saying now. So if he's reading all their minds and such like that, then Master Soul has a perfect reason for concern there. Now, but they didn't show us that. That's the issue of the show. They didn't show us that. That's how I'm interpreting it, but they didn't show us that. And that's the issue with this damn show. They're horrible writers. They should have showed us that that's why he was concerned versus, making this weird attachment vibe of, the Jedi that, Jedis typically don't have, So it's like, once again, we're just trying to make the Jedi look bad. That's how I feel about it.
They could have done that too. Just a tight zoom in on him and her and some humming of like mind reading. Because X-Men, countless sci-fi shows where there's mind readers, even Martian Manhunter, we see that, moments where they're scanning, they tell us that story of scanning, reading minds or a scene, and we didn't even get that. We just saw him behind the tree going,
exactly.
It's like, wow.
And that's only, my thought process of, thinking that, Master Soul is the best part of this show until what they've been doing to him as of late, like that. It's insane. They should. You're exactly right. That would have been so cool if they, kind of like
tell the story of his mind reading and show
force echoes of like visions, because we know Jedis can have visions. Show us what
as they showed in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah,
that was the first time we got to see a Jedi's vision.
Yes.
That before.
To really give us the idea of like why is he so certain they're in danger, but to leave those details out, it really felt like it was purposefully ignored to push a narrative of that the Jedi are just obsessed they're what's wrong with these witches? You mean to tell me for the thousands of years the Jedi have been around and they are fully aware of other force sensitive cults? They even say it when Sol goes back to report to Indara about what he has seen. And he's telling her, it's just, I fear for these girls' safety because there's a ceremony that they're preparing tonight, and there's this force cult or witches, and they're like, what are they, Night Sisters? And she's like, no, they're not Night Sisters. So they're very aware of other force cults out there. And to me, it's just like the Jedi have always been curious, investigative, any of the video games we played, the books, everything we've known about Jedis is that they go on missions, they investigate. It's once again, I'm gonna say it again, it's like Star Trek in a way where they go investigate these different planets, and you could say maybe bring them apart to the Republic, or just to fill out their records, their teachers, their historians, their scientists.
The Green Lantern Corps kind of does that too in sectors.
Yes, yeah, very much like Green Lantern Corps kind of. And to have them just immediately be like, these witches, they must be bad, right? We have no idea what they're doing. I saw them training the Force with these girls, and when she pushed them down with the Force, I was like, they're clearly in danger. It's like, you mean to tell me the Jedi haven't done that with their own students, to do Force pushes and throw them down on the ground when training combat? Like they're doing nothing that is at this point telling me the girls are in major danger here, other than if you want to impose what our society has kind of the idea of what witches are, from the Salem days kind of thing. You could do that, just historically how Western civilization has viewed witches. You could kind of impose those things already. But from episode 3, we see what they're kind of doing with the witches, and they're trying to not make them the bad guys at all, which was weird in the sense of where they go with it in this episode. But Indara, she's saying like, hey, we need to report this to the council. She's very much going by the book with the Jedi, right? We need guidance. But Sol, he's insisting they need to act now. These girls are in danger. I sense there's something that going to happen tonight at the ceremony. We need to act now. And Indara, she's like, okay, fine, we'll go, we'll investigate. And when they get to the temple, she's even telling them, we need to be smart about this. We need to be calculated. These people have no idea if we just show up on their doorstep, like all of us ready to go, that could be a threatening thing. Let me just go in and to kind of show the witches I'm not a threat, so we can ease into this here. This is an interesting conversation we're about to have with these force sensitive girls. And so once again, he's very insistent. No, we all need to go. We need to go as a team. Why do you think? What feelings are you getting at this point in the episode? Why is Sol just so insistent on, we have to go as a team? I have to be there. I have to see how this goes down, rather than, it seems like at that moment, it seems Sol is not a Jedi Master. He's just a Jedi Knight. So Indara is very much the one in command here, and she's getting a lot of pushback from Sol. Why is that? Koji?
I think it goes back more to his bad writing of the angry Karen. I don't want to keep going on to bad writing, but we established that he's obsessed with their lives are being in danger, and there needs to be a lot. And that's all I got to go on with why he insists that they all need to go. But I kind of wish I heard more strategy of why. And I just think it's just his obsession with them in danger and not knowing. So he... I don't know. I think it's just part of their thing that they're trying to force like a showdown of issues. And
do you get the feeling that they're trying to like kind of show that Sol is the bad Jedi? He's the one completely at fault here?
Well, no. Yeah,
it's hard to tell.
Yeah. I think that what they're trying to show here is how dysfunctional the Jedis are. That's what this is about. This is a small team. We have a Padawan, we have a Knight, we have a Master, and nothing is coherent. Nothing's fluid with the Force here. It's all disrupted. this team is a bunch of dysfunctional Jedis, is what we're seeing in this episode. So, this is, sure, we can point out that this is Master Soul going a little bit above him. It's just to make them look bad. That's what this is about.
Yeah. It's
because he seems very obsessed, very Sith-like.
Yes,
it is, right? It is a very selfish need. I mean, she even kind of, Indara kind of, do you think it has anything to do, just to bring it up, because they made a point of Indara kind of jabbing at Soul earlier in the episode, where she's just like, there's a reason why I have a Padawan and you don't. Do you think this was Soul like finally be like, well, I need to get me a Padawan then, like, and this is gonna be her?
They do, then that's very petty.
Yeah, it did give off those petty vibes, Trey. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we get kind of the reenactment scene, right? The Jedi and the Coven, they're conversing. And this was a scene that, man, oh man, did I particularly have an issue with it, because what it does for the reps of the episode, and what it did to, kind of peel back the layers of episode 3, is Padawan Torben. He's there, he's listening on the conversation, right? And then all of a sudden, internally, he realizes he's, having a conversation with Mother Anestia. And to me, it felt very creepy and a manipulative conversation from Anestia. Like, she was clearly trying to get into his mind and, in a weird way, do a Western style old English witch thing, where she's like, I can give you what you want. You just have to ask, give kind of the deal with the devil, right? It felt like that to me. But here she's kind of like almost also trying to peel back the layers of the writing, where I can tell you don't want to be here. You feel this is pointless. I can send you home. I can help you escape this planet. And to me, Corey and Koj, honestly, when I was listening to this particular scene once again, I was half expecting Mother Anestia to like break out into a little song, something like,
Come, little children, I'll take thee away into a land of enchantment.
like,
Is that Sarah Jessica Parker?
Yeah, that is, from Hocus Pocus.
Still have a crush on her.
And notice how they're both trying to make both witches seductive over at Disney. Like, this is man.
Well, you have to understand, Disney is also marketing their villains, so they want you to like their villains. They have a show that was, I suspect, spin-off or trying to be their version of Monster High, which is another show by Mattel to sell figures in a very 80s style. Awesome. And so they made a show called Descendants, where it's like all the kids of the villains going to school, and then they're still doing shows in that. So, and also they have some lines of villains too that they showcase. And I feel like they're trying to get you to like villains. And so I don't think they want to put them in a very bad light, which is the job of villains should be. So it's very strange that they're taking care of the villains. Go.
I love what you said there, Koj, because I do feel that way with Disney, and I completely agree with you. I think the thing that I question is, why are they making the Jedi look bad? If they're about making their people like their characters, why are they trying to make the Jedi look bad? That's the part that I just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I feel they're not fans of the Jedi at all, because the moments to make these characters villainous, like on the witches, I mean, could have been stronger if they made one of them more villainous, like the horny mom. Sorry, I don't mean to say it like that, like a dual meaning. But what's her name? The one with the spikes, the one with the horns. Anyways,
yeah,
that mother,
Coral, Mother Coral.
Yeah, thank you. So Mother Coral, she towards the end of this, it looks like she was the more aggressive one with going towards the Jedi, and then the other mother was more the peaceful one. So it seemed at first, or a couple times. So I think they missed the opportunity because Mother Coral, I think she should have been the one going in the head of the other one, of the Padawan. If she was going in the head, it would show how she's like more the aggressive one on guard, because the other one's like, no weapons, we need peace and all
Which
that.
would kind of make sense for, like you said there, like Mother Anestia is very much like, no, we need to go about this peacefully.
Exactly.
She's a little bit condescending in their conversation to the Jedi. Like, seriously, like the Jedi didn't know, how ignorant to their surroundings are. She's jabbing at them a little bit, but the one who's like really like pushing, like, we need to take them out, we need to fight them, is Mother Coral. So it makes sense for her to do something of that nature rather than Mother Anestia. That is a fantastic point.
Then you could see the conflict between the two mothers, because we are getting somewhat of a conflict with a Soul and Jedi Trinity, and we're not getting that with the mothers, where they could have done this, two sides equal thing, which is what they really are obsessing about. They're not treating two sides equally. One is incompetent, one is deep, but then they're doing their best to make the witches not look mean at all, and then make the Jedi look complacent, or incompetent. So if they had the Mother Coral be more the aggressor like she turned out to be, that would build the tension, and that would be supportive, because then you have the other mother acting like an idiot, because then she's like, oh, we should be peaceful, I'm going to be aggressive. Oh no, we're going to be defensive. Oh, I got stabbed. Oh, I really wanted her to go. It's like you're making that mother look more of an idiot too. Like,
Yeah.
And that's not fair to the character, but maybe they did that to give that actress more screen time. Maybe she was a higher build actor than the other one. And usually when you're hired build, they want to give you more screen time. So maybe that's why they did that. And it was like at expense of the story.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and to have him like kneel, because she's like, okay, I'll give you what you want. I'll let you go to Coruscant. I'll let you escape. And it looks like she's torturing him on the outside. And she uses that to her advantage. She's like, hey, if you don't leave now, I'm going to continue to torture him, basically. I'm going to keep him not in the right mind. So they're thinking that dude's being hurt, when the truth is he's sipping, some blue milk and freaking Coruscant, or drinking some Jawa juice.
I think she needed him to consciously submit to her power to control his body.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that was like one of the most frustrating parts about that scene, is that it added once again the theme that we've been talking about and criticizing so much for this show, which is none of their characters are consistent. None of them are doing or like making choices, making decisions that, I mean, I think just normally anyone would do, because it suggests who they are as personality wise. But all of these characters so far are freaking bipolar. They do whatever they want, whatever fits the story within that moment. And it's hard to like know what's going on or why they're doing it. Like, you don't understand any motives, because now it's like their backstory doesn't fit what they're doing now. So it's like, how am I supposed to either anticipate or to really understand the mission at hand for our characters? Super Bro Cordy, your thoughts about taking Torben on this little vision of Coruscant escape?
Dude, that it ticked me off. It definitely did tick me off. The witches are always bad, no matter what the story is. Witches are almost always bad. They're trying to kidnap children, steal babies, eat them, do all these weird things with them. Witches are bad. And yet, in this show, we're trying to make witches look good. But wait a second. The only witch in this show that is trying to play, I'm on the good side, attacks first. Mama Anisa attacked first. Whatever it is. I don't care. She entered the mind of a Jedi, a Padawan, so a child. She entered the mind of a child and attacked him. Physically and mentally attacked. That would have been the first attack. That was the first strike right then and there. And to be honest with you, if the Jedi were truly bad, if I was, the Sith fan of me would have wiped out all the freaking witches right then and there. Lightsaber would have came on, and I would have been whacking them down. I guarantee you, if Darth Vader was there and that, one of the, Darth Vader's, Star Killer, whoever you want it to be, was messed with like that, I guarantee you, Vader would have brought them all up and just started force choking them all. It's ridiculous that they got away there. So, okay, Oracle's clock tower. She kind of, maybe she's done some bad things though.
She has a few evil moments, right? But
Yeah,
I see what you say. I mean, there's some witches who,
In some lores, witch is another word for
yeah.
like a female wizard.
Yes.
yeah.
It
And
depends on
that's
the lore.
that's a different scenario. But most time witches tend to be on the evil side.
Which
So-
I think where you're kind of coming from, Corey, is just simply from how the Jedi are reacting to the fact that there are witches, this cult. They're taking it fearfully, actually. So which tells you most of the witches that we've seen in the Star Wars lore and the Star Wars galaxy, like the Night Sisters, they warrant that type of response of, oh shit, what are we dealing with? What were we about to go into? They don't look at these, I'm like, oh, like, look at these force sensitive beings. This is a freaking cult of witches, And you have to take their reaction as, I mean, sure, call it prejudiceness of what the Jedi, of how they're, dealing with the situation, but how they're taking the threat level of a cult of witches tells us that there must have been something in the past that says witches are a scary deal in the Star Wars realm.
Yeah,
because go on.
You could go, Koji.
Oh, I was just gonna add that, like, Star Wars, for a long while, has been inspired from like medieval like folklore, where it's a good and evil, where the witches are bad, and with the Asian folklore, with the martial arts, where witches are also bad. So it's been established that good and evil, what kind of witch they are. It's not the Harry Potter good witch. It's just the way the world was from the beginning. That's why when I hear witches in this world, I'm like, oh, bad.
But the other thing that annoyed me was by her entering the mind of Torben, I feel like it would have been better if she entered, this mind with Master Soul, especially since Master Soul has a tendency to read minds and everything like that. It would have been cool to see those two kind of go into a mixture of mind games together, and then obviously you could have had Torben, messed with somebody else, but I feel like it was stupid, dude. It was straight garbage, and there's this weird, man, like the way she was looking at him in that bottom right picture, bro, like it was weird, dude. Super weird. Definitely creepy vibes, creepy witch vibes.
Yeah, well, I mean, they definitely went for kind of that feel in episode 3, right? They almost wanted it to feel unnatural. I mean, everything we're learning about these witches tells us that, once again, the Jedi have reasons of why they're somewhat nervous about going in here, because everything we know about the Sith, they're telling them to, give in to your anger, give in to your fear, make those selfish choices, do things that are unnatural with the Force. They're constantly playing off of that idea with the witches, and through Leslie Headland's point of view and the writers, they're kind of trying to say, well, hey, that doesn't essentially make them evil. You're just told by George Lucas, who's the father of Star Wars, that it's evil. But the truth is, it's much more complex than that.
But here's another issue that I have. Absolutely, I would assume that maybe I'm wrong. I would assume that the Jedi would have known about the planet Dathomir at this point in the High Republic, right, Trey? And I would assume that they would have known about how Korra looks like she came from Dathomir, and I would assume that they would have known, potentially, I don't know if were the Nine Sisters around at that point, at all in this portion of the High Republic. So if they did have if they have ventured over to Dathomir and know how kind of creepy and weird vibes, or if they've met those witches before and how weird they are, and they see this person, witch Korra over here looking, kind of creepy. Like, yeah, oh yeah, I'd be like, oh, is this a like a spin-off of them? I feel like they have every right to be guarded up.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those scenes where, like Oracle was kind of saying, like the details we are kind of, or no, not Oracle, 9 Lives, sorry, that we are starting, the details that we are picking up on, that we are able to maybe infer what's going on, I don't think is exactly the true intentions that the writers are having, which just shows that they're leaving a lot of details that are important to like push their story along in the way they want it to go. We're kind of left having to make our own reasoning behind why they're doing what they're doing. And when you have that, you're going to confuse the audience. And that's, let's see, they could have just done the Knights of the Old Republic storyline. That would have been better. Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, they could have done. I mean, hell, even done the Bane storyline would have been really, really cool. With the Path of Destruction. Well, so let's go ahead and we'll continue on here. After we learn, when she releases Torben, Mother is going to agree to let their girls, do the Jedi test, as we know from episode 3. And we go back to the ship, and we can kind of see. It looks like Indara kind of has a tough chat with Tobin. He kind of looks defeated, disappointed in himself, and she looks kind of stern at him. So you can kind of infer that she probably scolded him, like, how the hell did you let them get into your minds? Like, tell us what happened. Like, right, next time you need to set defenses up. And Soul kind of speaks more to Indara and says, hey, I feel a deep connection here to Osha. Once again, like doing this weird thing, just like there's something about Osha. If there's one thing this show needs to maybe answer left in the season finale, is they need to tell us why. Why is Soul especially so obsessed with Indara? What does he not Indara, sorry, with Osha? What does he want from her? Like, is it simply he just wants a Padawan and she just seems the most compatible with him? If that's the case, then Soul's going to look like a bigger piece of shit. And, if you want the Jedi to be evil, that would be an important detail to tell us, of why he needs her. He just won't let her go. He feels a deep connection to her. And Indara even kind of brings up, she's like, dude, it's not going to happen. She's too old. She's already too old. So Anakin wasn't the first that they said no to because he was too old. Osha was another one, and May, that they're like too old, and the Coven won't let her go. We can sense it. She's attached to her family, and they're attached to her. They're not going to let this one go. This is the way it's going to be, right? And they do kind of, he brings up the whole ceremony of like, hey, May had the ceremonial mark, but Osha didn't. Osha didn't have it. And the truth is, of what we know from episode 3 is that Osha was going to go through with it. She was reluctant, yes, but she does say, she's about to say the words, I will ascend. She decides that she's just going to go through it because this is her only option. But the Jedi intervene at that point. So that's the only reason why she doesn't have a mark, is that the Jedi just happen to show up at the right time. But he can still sense that Osha wants out of there. She doesn't want this life. And I guess out of my curiosity, guys, just to kind of end this, do any of you have any idea of why Soul may want Osha? Like, what's the obsession? Is it simply the fact she knows that he kind of gets a sense she was born from the Force, so therefore she would be a very powerful Padawan?
Both of them are born from the Force, right?
Yes, technically.
So maybe my thing is, because when we saw the kids playing, May was the one who held that creature and then let it go. Osha was the one that held that creature and didn't let it go, right?
Yeah.
So what if the real story that they're failing to tell us is that Osha is more likely to turn into a Seth, or go to the dark side of the Force, and he is the one that sees that there's potential to save her from going to the dark side of the Force? That's a good reason, but we didn't get that. They didn't tell that story. They didn't show it, because I'm thinking In the end, it's going to be Osha's on the dark side and May's on the light side, and those two are going to fight. So they're just leaving a lot of stuff out of why he's so obsessed with Osha. Is it because that she didn't ascend and get the tattoo? Is that why she has to ascend and her sister doesn't have to ascend? Or is it both of them get to ascend?
You're asking. Well, they were both going to ascend because the idea was,
okay,
it's upon their mother's death, they would assume the leadership role, and they would be one of two of many.
Yeah. So then they need to establish that, and then why is he obsessed with one and not the other sister if they're both equal? So it's either one, she's going to go to the dark side of the Force, and if he trains her, she will not, and he could save her. They failed and didn't show us that story. Or he has a connection with her and her life's in danger, which they also failed and didn't tell us that connection. It could be, and there's probably other reasons why I'm not even seeing, because unfortunately they left so many loopholes of why he's so obsessed with her that it just doesn't add up or make sense. We just have to believe it at face value that she's in danger, I need her, da da da, and it's just like So it's hard to say because they left unanswered questions. They're just seeing the end results without the work to get there,
Yeah. Super Bro, your thoughts?
Dude, this whole portion was trash, man. Every second of this, portion of it all. Like, obviously, they show us the test there again, and we see that May tries to fail it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Osha, Osha will we'll play a trick on Osha to make it show that she really is Force sensitive," and then they try to do the whole like midi-chlorian. It's numerous amounts, and technically, if they're come from one, together they're more midi-chlorian counts than Anakin. So it's all bullshit right there. But the thing that was interesting to me that you brought up, Trey, is the council was told about this virgins, these kids are from the Force and everything like that. So Yoda, he's aware of the situation now. He knows what's going on. So there's some continuity errors later on there.
I mean, they kind of get around it, and I just mean kind of like very slight, for the simple fact that from what we saw in this episode, Indara did tell them, "Hey, we found a vergence in the Force," which simply means a concentration of Force-sensitive energy.
Yeah.
So they never specified at that moment what the kids were.
No, but they did say that they wanted to bring the kids back, and that they didn't want them to be trained, that they're too old. That did kind of pop up in this episode.
But still, the idea that they were created from the Force is still not it's not.
Sure. And they didn't tell us midi-chlorian counts, 9 lives and how they hear. That's probably one thing that they told not to bring up. They're like, "Oh, we can't take that much heat." If it's a pub Anakins, Anakins, they're going to get even more toasted. Or roasted, excuse me. The big issue here too is, what does the council say to them? They tell them to leave these witches alone and get out of there.
Yeah, they
we have a major issue now, because who wants to go home?
Thank you. Consistency once again with our characters, and that's exactly where I wanted to go to with this, Corey, is because we see, like, he's told that we're gonna have to wait here, not to. Soul is told by Indara, like, "Hey, like, don't put your own like desires into this. You need to take emotion out of it and think clearly." So you can tell he's impatient. He doesn't want to wait for the Jedi Council. He feels that they're in danger. When they did their whole test with May, She, one thing I noticed that was interesting when they did the test with May, just the small details they're doing with the scripts, right? Where Tobin is walking with May heading towards her, and he's going to take the blood sample, and he said, "Don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you." And he sticks the shot to get her blood sample, and she immediately goes, "Ow!" And it's just like that little small detail makes it almost comical. He's like, obviously, I mean, he didn't hurt her bad, but like he just says, like, "Don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you." Ow! Like, you can't do that within a millisecond of each other and be like, what are you going by that? Like, it would have made more sense if you just took the blood sample. And I get they were just trying to do the Anakin same scene, but from Phantom Menace. But before you push too much more over into the Torben side of things, I do want to mention one more thing about Master Soul really pushing on training Osha and everything like that. They made Master Soul look like the dumbest Jedi here now. The stupidest Jedi of the team.
And obsessed.
And you want to know the biggest difference here? They said that he was going to be the Qui-Gon Jinn of this show. He is nowhere near Qui-Gon Jinn. After this episode, he is nowhere near any of them. Qui-Gon Jinn was able to maintain that professionalism and integrity of a Jedi in explaining why Anakin needed to be a part of the Jedi team. Why
there wasn't an obsession there.
There wasn't an obsession there.
Other than he truly believed that he was the
chosen one.
The chosen one. But it wasn't done out of like a selfish need.
Exactly.
It's just like, you do not see this because of the specialness of him being born from the Force.
Mm-hmm.
But
so it's like we have determination and obsession.
Yeah.
Yes.
Feel a strong
That's the difference.
Bullshit, man. Like, get out of here, dude. That's all you're saying. You're not saying anything more. So now they literally did a great job making Soul look like a character that was the only character that I liked. To now, I can't really stand Soul. Like, I love him as an actor,
heart.
but they killed his character. The writers killed Soul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that, I agree, that hurt me personally too, because once again, if any person watching this in the replay crew is like, you guys are just hating on this to hate it, please watch our trailer reactions. Just watch it, and you'll know from the moment you watch that, like, oh, these guys seem really excited. And the one part we were definitely really excited for, Jung Jae Lee. We thought he's a great actor, and to see his character kind of be treated in a way that just made him obnoxiously stupid and just making horrible choices, that's like none of what the consistency of where he is present day in this storyline to where he was 16 years ago. Like, granted, a lot of things changed in 16 years, but he's still making the dumb mistakes that he did.
Pardon my French, but fuck you, Star Wars. Like, they killed Soul, bro. Like, like you said, we were so excited for him, and they destroyed him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the actor has all the makings to bring that Qui-Gon Jinn, but the narration, the story, the writing, the story that's told is, is none of that. It's the polar opposite of that. They killed the soul in this show. This show has no soul.
Well, you do see the differences. Now you're seeing May's side of the test, which was no surprise, right? She just immediately like, hey, can I go back to my family? I'm just going to say a whole bunch of wrong answers. And they can feel it, right? She doesn't want to be there. So they're immediately like, okay, like, she's not going to be here, but maybe we can get some information out of her. They ask her about the Ascension, right? And, she talks about, well, we're going to become leaders of the cult. And then Dara's like, well, how's that possible? You guys are like 10 years old. Who's going to make you the leaders of this entire group of witches? And May kind of goes further into it. It says everyone must walk through fear, right? Everyone must be sacrificed to fulfill their destiny. So she's kind of paraphrasing what her mom, Anestia, told her earlier in the episode, where she talks about sacrifice, that I think would have made a little more sense. So because of the wording and how this girl describes it, it alarms Soul even more, to where it's like, oh my God, sacrifice, you're going to kill these girls. And to me, it's like, at that point, I don't understand why it just goes to show the ignorance and the stupidity of Soul's character, which is, why wouldn't he just be like, we need to ask some questions here. We need to investigate, right? Because Jedis aren't aggressive. They investigate. They're curious about the Force. It's why they may have discovered and given scientific definitions about midichlorians. I know a lot of people hated that from the prequel trilogy, but at the same time, it makes sense that the Jedi would try to understand the Force on a much more deeper analytical way than just the generic, mythic story, of the Force, rather than, the legend that people have created about the Force. It makes sense that Jedi would be that in depth with it. And here, we see why Soul says to Indara, she's like, hey, obviously she failed that test on purpose and they were told to fail. Let me do a different Jedi test. Do I have your permission to do it? And you could tell Indara's kind of like, fine, I'm just going to let you do it because I can tell you're just not going to let this go. The interesting part about this particular scene, even though it's replaying what we've already seen in episode 3, is that it really focuses on Indara's reaction to what Soul is asking her, telling, Osha to have the courage to do what she wants, really kind of pushing her and encouraging her to achieve what he wants, right? She feels like there's a scene where she just kind of looks at him with like great disturbance, like she senses something dark within his motives. Did you guys happen to catch that scene? And if you did, what's your thoughts about what do you think Indara is taking from that? What is she sensing from Soul's thoughts? KJ?
I really don't know, honestly, because I need more motive for that. And I hate going back to that, but it could be possible that she's, if anything, there's a story that they're saving to tell us later, because with the rest of this story, there's all these backstories that get revealed later. So it's possible Soul has some other backstory we don't know that Jedi Master Indara probably knows. And I took it because they both know each other very well to have such debates and within the story that they're saying or showing us. So I'm pretty sure that she knows him very well and she's scanning him to see why he's so obsessed with this. And I think she knows something more about him that probably won't get to know or know later, maybe season 2. I don't want season 2, but I think she's just scanning him because she either knows or knows there's something that he's hiding. She either knows something about his past or knows that there's something about his past she doesn't know. And she's trying to figure out what's his obsession. And it seems weird because for him to be at this level, he wouldn't have an obsession.
Exactly, right? Like a lot of them
it's, like,
are
weird.
acting in very un-Jedi-like ways. We know Jedis to be composed, especially when you get to the Jedi Knight, almost Jedi Master level. Like you are a very composed, patient person. I mean, even Obi-Wan, when he was training Anakin, while Anakin was a very difficult student because he was just on a whole nother level, learning faster than almost Obi-Wan was ready to teach, because he was picking up so quickly, that here we're having, he was still composed, right? Obi-Wan was still very much patient and be like, hey, take your time, slow down. Don't go in for the attack. Wait for the Sith to make their move, right? We'll take them together. He's very still composed for a young Jedi Knight training Anakin Skywalker, right? But here you're seeing Soul, he's impatient, he's erratic, he's just obsessed. He's nothing of the sort. And we've seen him as time has gone on, 16 years later, he is still very much obsessed with and attached to Osha, having the hologram still of her. And that Jackie questions him on, like, why do you have that? Why do you do that? She's like, what is going through your mind? And there is a story there that if they don't explain this in the finale episode, then completely take this show and throw it out the freaking door. It's not canon. It's the worst piece of trash.
Like, do you think she's the chosen one and he's obsessed with that? We don't know.
That's a great question. What if he says that? Like, she could be the chosen one,
bring balance to the force. That then you start
That could have solved a lot of things for
it
them.
still ruins the prequel trilogy. I mean, that's the only issue if they go with that storyline. But Super Bro, your thoughts on the stern look, the alarming look, as I think someone said earlier in the chat.
I saw that, and I did catch that, and I was like, there has to be some sort of past that they have, but to just continue to further this case and storyline of distrust amongst the Jedi is how I took it, because I don't think Soul did anything wrong in the test. Jedis are known to use Jedi mind tricks. That's all that was, in some ways, and not even a Jedi mind trick. It was just a standard trick. Like, oh yeah, that's correct. It was a spaceship. That wasn't a spaceship. Like, I got you. Like that type of things happen that the Jedi did.
It makes his intentions seem even more, once again, sinister, because what we saw in episode 3, and Coach, I remember you saying this as we were watching it together, when he was talking with Osha and he's on his knee and he's giving this very fatherly mentor advice, like, you must have the courage to say what you want, to say what you need to. It was kind of a very nice, touching moment. And then we learn from the other perspective in the room is that there's something else going on here. And Indara doesn't like it. She's very much looking at it going like, what the hell are you up to? Like, why? She's almost curious herself. She's like, I almost have to let it unfold to really discover why Soul needs this so badly.
There's this weird sexualization of Star Wars in this Acolyte series. So much to the point where Leslie Headland, immediately after last episode, began talking about shipping Khmer and Osha. In that,
I did see that.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So I'm glad you saw that. So
wait, what?
So how the way Osha and Khmer were looking at each other, taking off the, Khmer taking off the shirt, putting his clothes back on, and all that there. Now, I'm just going to throw it out there. Khmer and Soul, they're. I don't think they're as far as age apart as one may think. I'm wondering if there's some weird stuff between Soul and Osha as well, with her being a possession, type vibes that they're trying to give and everything like that. So, I'm not saying there's like a ship relationship there, but they're weird freaking vibes I'm getting from the Stamp show, bro.
That's fair, because I'm trying not to think anything is kind of gross going on there. But at the same time, you and I, during episode 6, we were kind of like, why are they trying to, there definitely feels like they're trying to force some sexual tension between Khmer and Osha.
And Leslie Helen freaking admitted it, bro.
And she admitted it. So it's like, they were trying to do that. And it's like, I go, why? It makes no sense. The dude just killed all of her friends, people she knew from childhood. Just killed them all like they were nothing, and turned her sister down a dark path. And you're trying to ship these two characters because you really liked what they did with Kylo Ren and Rey Skywalker or Palpatine, however you want to look at, in the sequel trilogy, which not many people care for in the first place. And it's like, not to keep going back to episode 6, but to me, you kind of, because of that, the consistency of the writers, you kind of have to input, are they trying to do something weird here with Soul and Osha?
And Leslie confirmed it, and Dave Filoni approved it all.
Maybe.
Maybe he had to keep his job.
I mean, it wouldn't be surprising with Kathleen.
I would have given them the big one of those and tell Disney to go fuck themselves.
So we'll continue on. So we know
May try to purposely, we have that whole reaction from Indara with Soul, but Soul, he's after his meeting, his test with Osha, he's confirmed every idea in his thought. He's like, I'm ready to offer this girl my apprenticeship. She's going to be my Padawan. Let's just go and do it. Doesn't matter what the council says. I don't care. We don't need to converse with them. We don't need their guidance. Let me just go get her, And of course, Indara's like, no, we need to, we're going to analyze their M counts. We're going to wait further instructions from the council. Let's see what happens. Well, then we get this very next scene. Soul's walking back and forth. He's impatient, right? He doesn't want to wait any longer. Very un-Jedi-like. But he senses something. He's like, something's gone wrong. And at this point, we know, just because of how the scene plays out in the flashbacks, they haven't locked Osha up yet. May has not done anything. In fact, they're actually having a conversation between the mothers that they're going to let Osha go. So where's this force sense coming from? Is it a vision that he sees something's about to go wrong? That's kind of a detail we need to see, if so. But as we're waiting to hear what the council has to say, and Dara comes in, she's like, yep, the answer's no. Already, I told you this was going to be the case. They don't think it's a good idea. She's past the age. They don't want to separate the twins or remove them from this strange cult. They already know this is bad. This got bad news bears written all over it. Now, here's where it gets worse, this freaking show. This was another part where I was just like, why? How does this make sense? Tobin is flabbergasted that, they don't want to remove the twins. He says, the witches are dangerous. How can we not take the girls away? They're dangerous. You saw what they did. But what we know of what they did was that Mother Anestia didn't threaten Tobin. She didn't hurt him. She said, hey, if you just ask, I'll take you back to Coruscant. I'll help you escape this planet. He almost seems intrigued by the idea when that scene played out. But
he sees through the lies of the witches and the Jedi.
But here, all of a sudden, he's like, oh my God, the witches are evil. We can't let the girls stay with them. We need to get them out of there. And Dara's like, no, they say we've interfered too much already. And Tobin's like, so wait, we can go home now? We can return home? And she's like, no, we still have to do our rest of our field work. And this kind of pisses him off. So here, the witch was willing to, so now he kind of goes back to, well, wait, the witches were willing to get me back, but maybe if I just go grab the girls and kidnap them and show them proof of this forced virgins, which I don't know why you wouldn't just wait for the M count analyzation when they get, because he makes this decision and it's here's the M count. Their blood, it has a highly insane amount of M counts in it. Their symbionts are completely the same. They're twins. They're born of the Force. We need to ask the witches how they came to be. Why wouldn't you just be like, well, hey, that's actually new information. Let's go back to the council and ask. That could have changed some shit. That could have been yeah, hey, actually ask Osha, who the mother witch has already agreed to send her along because she wants it. Why wouldn't you just wait?
Then you have your answer. Then you get to go to Coruscant.
Yeah, their inability to be patient and act as Jedi, simply to the back and forth of Tobin to be like, well, yes, I'm interested in you taking it back to Coruscant. I just want to go home because I sense no purpose in life. To the witches are evil. To if I take the girls, I can go home. When maybe if you just waited a minute. Also coming in with a $5 super chat saying, I was going to save my super chat for tomorrow's charity stream, but this discussion is so good, I have to get my favorite show some love. Great breakdown, gents. Aw, Oracle, you're too kind.
Oracle,
I know because you want to do the put money into the American Red Cross Relief Disaster Fund. I'll just save your $5 super chat for tomorrow as well. But we'll say thank you right now, so I appreciate that. Corey,
to jump on what you were saying, if you don't mind, but
go ahead.
And once again, we have a random 180 U-turn for no reason except to force some drama that is unmerited, hasn't worked for, when in reality of the character's motives that the show established, dude could have just gone to his quarters, flipped on his, long time ago in Galaxy Far, Far Away Nintendo Switch, and just wait for everything to go, and then he can go home because he's like, oh, cool, I'm going home soon. I'm going to take a nap and relax.
Yeah, I mean, literally all they had to do was nothing, but the fact that both him, Sol, and Tobin were so, we have to go, we have to do it now, and it's like, the council didn't even have all the facts. All we had to do was just radio them in and like, hey, some new information. We've discovered that these two Force-sensitive twins have an insanely high, M count, and not only are they just twins, they're pretty much clones. Like that. Maybe the Jedi would have been like, oh, well, maybe we need to look into this a little more. Investigate, please. Or bring back Osha. Osha says she wants to go. Check in with the witches to see if they'll let her go.
And they already have the parents' consent, so there's no problem. That's how they all work. Well, it's like once again, where's the problem?
Yeah.
Where's the motive?
Orko will go ahead and give you your $5 super chat to say thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
This is the way.
This is the way. So yeah, it's just so silly to like this is the conflict we're getting in. It's not that anyone did anything really evil. It's a misunderstanding and impatience that put us in a very tough situation with these guys. So here we go. So wants to protest the council's decision, but Andara's like, hey, you've developed a weird, unusual emotional connection with Osha. This is weird. Tobin decides to race off after the girls because he needs them for evidence, so they'll let him go home. He finally wants to go home after all this time.
Yeah.
Tobin became like the worst Jedi in the history of live-action Star Wars. So we get chaos at the temple, right? Mother Coral, and here's where it gets crazy to me, because the whole mindset and what kind of Leslie Headland and the rest of her writers have been trying to do is to show it's not a matter of who's good or evil, it's a matter of whose side you're on, and we're definitely going to show the Jedi in a different light. But here we got Mother Coral telling after Mother Anestia, the leader of the cult, makes her decision. Osha's going to go. Mother Coral tells me, hey, you want Osha to stay? Make her stay. Oh, and let me remind you that the Jedi will attack you, so you need to be prepared and also get mad. She's literally telling her to do all the Sith-like things. Prepare for battle. Don't do what your mother told you to do. Lock in your sister and blah, blah, blah. So May breaks the controls of the temple so no one can get in. They've locked everybody in there. And Coral's like, to arms! Get your shit ready to go. Literally going to provoke the Jedi, which at this moment, the Jedi have not done anything other than show up. Be there. Ask questions. Test. Be peaceful about it. They haven't done anything aggressive of the sort. Not even when they came at their Jedi Padawan Tobin. They didn't go after him. It wasn't a fight there. They're like, okay, whoa, clearly a misunderstanding. Let's talk this out. But now Mother Coral's like, pick up your arms, get your airbows ready. We're not going to let Osha go, even though our queen said she was going to let her go. We're going to fight these people. Okay. Well, then Sol and Tobin, they reach, and they're like, okay, we sense the girls are in danger. We need to get in there. So May locks in Osha, and we know what happens in episode 3, which makes this even more ridiculous. We go from Coral telling May, just if you want her to stay, make her stay, to May interpreting that as, I'm going to kill you, sister. I'm going to burn this place to the ground. But what we learn is it was kind of an accidental. She just wanted to burn the Jedi book. She didn't actually want to light the bricks on fire. But first off, that's just not right there, Corey. The fact that these bricks are lighting on fire, yeah, it's a little bit of electrical fire, but all bricks where no oxygen.
No, they're charcoal stones.
Charcoal stone,
I
right?
hypothesized.
Good God.
They're made of charcoal.
Yeah. But to me, to show this storyline where May's like, I'm going to kill you, sister. And to then show this extra scene, well, maybe that's not the whole story. It was just a mistake. It was just something that went wrong and out of her control. You know, she burns the Jedi diary and she's like, oh shit, this is actually on fire, and drops the book and it hits the controls and lights everything on fire. What the hell are these bricks made out of? What the hell are these bricks made out of? I'll tell you what they are, Coral.
What are you going to tell me next? That you said Kevin's altar on fire? Oh my God.
Well, it wasn't intentional. I was chasing Jinx up onto the roof. I had a smoke, and I think I might have lit something that... I don't know what happened. He put so much goddamn lacquer on that thing. It was an accident waiting to happen.
This is very disappointing, Craig.
This is very disappointing, Trey.
Very disappointing.
Oh my gosh.
What the hell? You know, like, once again, the inconsistencies. Like, I get it, she's angry, but to show this other side where she just wanted to burn the Jedi book. There was nothing sinister going on there, even though not 5 minutes earlier, she told her sister, I'm going to kill you. I'm not going to let you go. You're going to die here. So it's like, okay, now you're trying to make it look like May wasn't that bad when she literally was like, I'm going to kill you. And now we see her attempt to kill her in episode 3, but episode 7 is going to say, it was just a mistake. We should have had the fire starter brittle. You know.
I don't know. Keep swapping or rebooting or resetting randomly, man.
To the point where, like, you can't take anything that these characters say seriously. You can't take anything. You know? So it's very disappointing when it just comes to the motive. Here we're getting the other side, right? We're getting the reveals. We're supposed to get the answers that hopefully make the previous episodes better, but instead it's making it much worse. It's ridiculous. So Indara and Kelnaka, they're trying to reach the temple, right? They're trying to help out, and because they know shit's about to go down, and even Indara's just like, hey, I don't know what Sol and Tobin are about to do, but we need to stop them from making any conflict. Even though technically May is the one that lit the fire. It wasn't even, we somewhat speculated, right, that maybe the Jedi did wipe them all out. You know, that the temple came, you know, crumbling down upon them or something of that nature. And it's actually far more stupid. Something far more less interesting or you know, less to push their narrative. You know, if they really wanted to hone in that the Jedi are evil and, you know, they did something really messed up here that's unforgivable, it would have made sense if maybe Sol and Tobin, Kelnaka and Dara both went in there and just killed them all. You know, that the Jedi Council advised them, hey, they are evil witches and we need to get the girls away from them. That would have made a consistent storyline here and kind of push what they're trying to go for a little better. But instead, they just try to do the scene where, you know, Anastasia, she's like, hey, my love, Coral, I said not to use violence, but I see you have everyone lined up here ready to go to mess these people up. You know, before and Coral's like, hey, I told you, I'll die before I let them take it. So clearly showing there's one person with the messed up motive here. It's Mother Coral. If there's anyone to blame in this entire freaking thing, it is Mother Coral. And it's not Sol, even for how stupid Sol is. Is he?
Yeah, he's just confused.
Yeah, is he confused and he shouldn't be doing the things he's doing? Yeah, sure, absolutely. But if you want to get down to the root of who screwed this up from the get-go, who the hell burnt down the temple? Hell, I'll even take that away from May. Because Coral is the one who's like, hey, shut this shit down. Let's go to war. She's fired up. Get angry. I want you to do stupid shit.
Mother Anastasia, she has just as much to blame. She literally took control of Padawan Torben and said, "I'm not going to release him until you get out. Get out of here." She attacked first.
But according to this episode, she wasn't doing anything malicious. She was just offering him a way out, Corey.
Oh, she wasn't doing anything malicious. She mind controlled somebody, did something,
and told the rest of her team that, hey, if you want me to release him, I'll let him go. Referring that she was torturing him. But
no, not necessarily torturing. She tricked him into submission to be a hostage. Right then and there.
Yeah. So, I mean, but that's the thing, right? Like, we're constantly saying, like, the whole idea was to make the Jedi in a light where they're the evil ones. But here, we're actually seeing it's the witches' manipulation. They're trying to push that the witches are actually, these innocent people that got wiped out and, thrown under the rug by the Jedi because they didn't like how they were using the thread. And the truth is, it's like they were provoking the Jedi throughout this entire thing. The Jedi, like, as we see from the Jedi perspective, and maybe, I don't know, maybe episode 8 will tell us that the perspective we got from the Jedi was a lie. That would be stupid. Nonetheless, Sol and Torben, they approach with noble intentions. They question how the girls were created, and Anestia, she's already made the decision that Osha can go. She doesn't have to tell him anything. She can just say, "Hey, I'll go with you to go get Osha," even though they have everyone lined up. Right? It could have been solved as easily as this: is Osha just saying, "Hey," Anestia is just saying, "Hey, come with me. I'll help you go get Osha." She doesn't know what Coral has done. She could have taken charge because she is the leader, but instead she's like, "Your noble intentions, that will be the thing that destroys you all one day." She has such huge foresight. It goes all the way to the prequel trilogy. She knows their noble intentions to wipe out the corruption in the Galactic Senate with Senator Palpatine, aka the Emperor, without trial. That noble intention is going to be the death of all the Jedi someday. She knows. Rather than simply, hey, there's no fight here. There's no argument. He's asking the question. She could be like, "Hey, let me just go." They chose not to answer it in the first place when they asked in episode 3. She could have simply, once again, here been like, "I don't need to tell you. Just come with me. We'll get Osha." But instead, May comes out of, she's panicking. She's like begging for help, saying, "Please help me, Mother. Please help me." Doesn't even tell her what's going on. Sol mistakes her for Osha, which makes him look even more stupid. But in the chaos, and this whole entire scene right here just infuriated me further because she's begging for help. The mother decides at this moment, let me turn into this scary, ghostly mist thing that makes me look like a demon from hell. And it looks like it's absorbing May to where, okay, now Sol is a bit concerned. There's a girl running, begging for help.
The first time he has merit to be concerned.
The first time he actually has merit. Now, he didn't need to, I think, stab her with a lightsaber. I will still say that's a bad move on his part.
Force push.
Force push, that's what I was thinking too. Like, a force push would have been the more Jedi thing to do.
Nope.
Okay, Corey, go ahead.
Sliced her down right then and there as well. And I know I have a tendency to kind of go more to the Sith side, but picture this. She is straight up turning into this black, ghouly, demon-looking creature right in front of her eyes as Mother Coral is getting all pumped up with the troops. And I know for a fact that one of my Padawans of the Jedi team just fell under control the day before. You better believe I'm going to shut that shit down right then and there.
That's a fair point, Corey. And they do have bow and arrows pointed at them. They do have, Coral's ready to throw down. She even gets into position. So and actually I did watch it very closely. We all joke about what's up, Orca Beans? How you doing, my brother?
Hey,
we like to joke about who shot first. Did Hans shoot first? I actually paid super close attention to this. The first person that makes a gesture like she is about to attack is Mother Coral. Tobin then, once she moves into attack mode, turns on his lightsaber.
Yep.
Ready to defend himself. So he's doing the very Jedi-like thing to do right now. So it's still the witches who are pushing for a fight. You know, coming up as the aggressors, the threat level, you know? Jedi have not done anything at this point. So Soul kills Anestia. Big whoop.
Good.
But he feels guilty about it. He can tell that this was a horrible thing that he wished he didn't do. And you know, he finds out from May running up and his daughter, you know, saying, you know, like he realizes it sees the mark, it's not Osha, it's May. And the mother, in her final words, tells in this weird moment, trying to make it look like the Jedi are the pieces of shit here, I was gonna let Osha go with you. If you just waited, she was gonna go with you. She chose you, but instead you chose violence. Ah, I'm dead.
Wow, right? Oh.
You know, like, what the hell? Like, you know, it would have been the proper thing to say is like, hey, rather than, you know, that noble intention is going to get you killed one day, to, I don't know, maybe treat the Jedi with some respect because they are going to be handling your daughter, and just be like, come with me, let's go get Osha. She's chosen to go with you. But instead she had to be combative with it, to be like, what makes you think you can raise her? You're not her family. You've already decided at that point, it doesn't matter that you're her family, that Osha is going to go with them because she wants it. So once again, flip-flopping on the motives here. So all of a sudden where she's like, I guess my girlfriend is not happy, so I'm unhappy too. Like, you already knew Coral didn't agree with the situation, so why flip now? Stupid. Whatever. Anyways, let them fight. Tobin's blocking all the arrows as Coral's, you know, trying to take down Soul, but Soul won't fight back because he's feeling guilty about the situation. He thinks it's his fault. The temple begins to, you know, crumble down from the fire, and you know, basically, Coral says to the Jedi, like, hey, you shouldn't have brought him here. Like, all right, if you're not gonna fight me, maybe you'll fight someone who's gonna go after you guys. So I'm gonna possess Kelnaka. And she, first off, to possess Kelnaka, she really needed some really strong Wi-Fi connection. So she acts the trance of all the witches, the power of many, to boost the Wi-Fi signal. And you know, she got Kelnaka whole. She's going after him, right? Kelnaka, they're thrown down. I rewatched that scene. I know the first time I was kind of like, I didn't think it was that great choreography. After rewatching it, I was kind of like, it's okay.
No, yeah, it's not good.
I still didn't like, it was a lot of swiping, and to me, it wasn't like really fencing on the level.
Yeah, they have nonsensical swings, as I've said before.
Yeah, it's very still the sequel trilogy of just, you know, and even the original trilogy, I'll give the original trilogy crap. The fight sequence in the original trilogy weren't fire. You know, it's really the prequel trilogy where Nick Gillard really took hold of it, but
garbage.
It's a lot of swiping at each other, but we're seeing it. Finally, we're getting the Wookiee to throw down, and I liked it. That was the entertaining. Honestly, that was maybe the only somewhat good part. You didn't like it at all, Corey? Why did you not like it?
Garbage, bro. Freaking garbage. Trash, man. The theme sucked. Obviously, okay, that many witches, you know, maybe you can suggest that they took over, you know, Kelnaka to make him fight everybody. We saw, you know, the Witches of Dathomir mess with, just base his name in Clone Wars. They went into his dream. Who was it? Oh my gosh, Trey! Qui-Gon Jinn's master.
Oh, Count Dooku?
Yeah, Count Dooku. Damn, I could not think of it for a second. We saw that the Witches of Dathomir did go into and mess around with Count Dooku, so we do know that witches can kind of mess with people, but that many witches controlling a Jedi like that is a bit of a stretch. We have some super weak-minded Jedi, I guess, in this freaking show. very weak-minded Jedi. But you have a freaking Wookiee, and all you're doing is slashes and swipes and different things like that. And I don't, you don't see any arms being ripped off, or
picking up bodies and throwing them like a military
picking up
press
bodies
slam.
and throwing them and everything
That's
like that. So I'm already getting a little pissed off by the fight scene. Like, okay, interesting. We finally see We finally see Kelnaka fighting, and this awesome Jedi Wookiee fight that we've been waiting for a millennium to actually see Kelnaka or a Wookiee Jedi throw down. But you want to know the point where I was like, and then finally, boom, nope, everything in here is garbage. I'm so glad you put in this power sign. The scene right there where freaking Padawan Torben pushed up against the wall, barely able to defend himself, pushes down his lightsaber and is able to block that attack from Kelnaka. That I'm supposed to believe that Padawan Torben was able to be like this up against the wall, have his thing, and be able to stop, have enough force and power to stop Wookiee swipe.
That's true.
That would have gone right into him. Torben should be dead right now. The whole...
Yeah,
honestly,
how is his wrist more powerful than a Wookiee?
Honestly, it would have been a much better story to actually have Kelnaka kill Tobin, because Tobin's suicide because of this episode makes no sense.
Yeah, what was he guilty of? He was more the victim of this whole thing.
Truly, exactly. What was he like? We thought we were doing the right thing. What did they do wrong? Honestly, replay crew, if you loved this episode, you love the show, and you think the Jedi are evil, Torben is definitely to blame. But Trey, please break it down for me, because I don't understand it. I get the idea that, like, okay, maybe he feels like he provoked them just by showing up.
But Trey,
he didn't attack first.
But after seeing this, Trey, it would make more sense why Kelnaka is, off in some, foresty solitude land all by himself, because he feels bad about
exiling
killing
himself.
Or Padawan Torben,
that would make sense. Why went to conclusion?
Thank you, and that's where I was kind of going with it. Is that it would have made more sense of why Kelnaka is kind of in exile, and not to have Tobin. Tobin doesn't speak for 10 years because of what? What did he do? What is he in particularly guilty of, other than he makes a decision that, let's go get the girls, they're in danger, and that'll be my ticket home. It's not like he kidnapped the girls when he got there. He didn't even say it. We're taking the girls. He got there, and they said, with noble intentions, we're here to ask some questions. They didn't do anything wrong. So it makes no sense that Kelnaka's like, I'm sorry. I mean, not Kelnaka. Tobin's like, I'm sorry. We thought we were doing the right thing, and kills himself. Unless if May got into his mind and said, hey, you want to go back to Coruscant? Here's a drink.
What level was Kelnaka here? Was he a knight or was he a master?
He had to be a knight.
He was a Padawan, and then he becomes a master.
Oh.
Which he does in a very quick amount of time.
So he was a Padawan?
He's a Padawan in episode 7, but when we see him in episode 2, he's a master.
Explains why it was a weak fight and how there's no way a Padawan Torben pushed up against a wall could have stopped that lightsaber strike.
Yeah. It makes it all the more stupid. But, Indara comes to the rescue.
Like you said, his lightsaber cut himself with Kelnaka's lightsaber.
Like, look at that. How is he blocking himself? Doesn't make no sense.
Well, Indara comes to the rescue. She subdues Kelnaka, breaks the connection that somehow kills all the witches. They all fall down to the ground. We assume they're dead because none of Soul couldn't sense them. They didn't try to rescue them if they were just sleeping.
And if they left, one of the kids there, after the next day, all the witches would be like, hey, how you doing? And they would, rebuild.
I don't understand.
Relocate.
I don't understand how that, disconnection, killed all the witches. That was stupid. They're powerful enough to get into the mind of a Jedi and control them. And then all of a sudden, connection broken.
Yeah. I do feel like this is important to bring up because there's one body we don't see. And that usually tells you when you don't see a body, they're somewhere out there, or they could show up at any moment, right? Does anyone think Mother Coral's still alive?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, anything can happen in this kind of show. Even the people we saw dead might show up.
I once thought it was, potentially that she was the Sith Lord.
Yeah, you did predict that, and honestly, at that point, it almost makes sense if they would have done that. I almost would have preferred it. Who knows? I think I would agree with you guys. I think she's still alive. I think she's out there somewhere. If anything, maybe she's the one teaching Kamir something.
Yeah, because Kamir seems like an apprentice the way he's rolling,
Agreed. Take it or leave it says, I'm sorry. She bounced. She'll be back next episode, in my opinion. I hope so. I hope this says, at this point, I really don't want this show to go to a season 2 because I don't care to watch it further. But yeah, so the temple is crumbling down. It's all falling apart. Soul's like, I gotta go get the girls. I gotta go rescue them. First off, I don't know why Indara wouldn't go with them. Or someone, Kelnaka, he's kind of dazed and confused. Yes, Tobin is somewhat hurt. He just has a scratch on his eye. It's not like he got hurt any further. So it's like, why was he the only one to go and search for them? Makes no sense to me. But anyways, he does. He goes, finds them. He finds them on the bridge. And what we learn is he didn't show up after the fact when the girls fall. He was there. He actually held the bridges up, which...
Why didn't he just bring them over, Trey?
Bring over the girls? I don't know. Like, granted, people are going to be like, well, clearly he's not strong enough to do that. I don't know. He was holding up 2 bridges with girls on them.
Yeah. Is it like he has to hold the bridge, then when he has to stop holding and then hold them, he's going to lose time and they fall? Or
no?
Come on.
It just made Soul look more like a piece of shit. And you forced the drama that the title of the episode choice is the fact that Soul chose Osha over May. And that's what makes Soul a piece of shit. When the truth is, I don't know. At this point, yes, I know May's a young kid. She's going to make mistakes. She made a bad error. But clearly she seems to be more leaning to the tendency of the dark side of the force. She's hurting animals. She's, really into her mother's witchcraft that has a tendency of lessons in that are kind of consistent with the dark side. So, if you had to pick one, it makes sense that Soul is going to pick. And not only that, it's kind of the sacrifice situation of like, okay,
no,
in a horrible situation, right? If you can only save one, who do you choose? Do you let both of them die because you can't make that choice?
Nope, this is complete bullshit, bro. He was able to hold up both bridges with them on it. He would have been able to carry them both over force-wise to safety. These girls are how old? Probably weighing, 100 pounds, if that, He would have been easily able to carry them over with the force, bro. They're lifting up rocks and boulders and shit like that all the time, bro. It's a complete bullshit, man. This is, just proven to make Soul and the Jedi look bad, that he chose one over the other because he has this creepy obsession with Osha over May. But in the rest of the episode, he's like, oh, we gotta save the girls, and we gotta save these girls.
Yeah.
May made her decision on Osha, but now, everything's going to hell now. All these witches are dying out there and everything like that. The place, this rock is weirdly on fire. Let's take both of them and help teach them the way. This is a big enough thing now where Yoda and the rest of the High Council needs to know that, hey, these kids were created by this thread or this force, that they're one and the same, okay, maybe we don't train them, but these people, these twins are important enough to take them back to the council so they can see what the hell went on here.
What this Virgin says, that they're kind of learning. They're the exact same. They're literally a clone of each other, right? And the Force, as far as they can tell, created them.
Yeah,
ridiculous, absolutely.
But wait, the witches used the Force to create them. The Force didn't create them on their own.
The thread.
Yeah, sorry. The witches manipulated the thread to create them without a father.
And that's a miss. They could tell a great story like right then and there, because then maybe you could have like Soul be like, oh my gosh, remember that prophecy that we all know? Maybe these are them. We need to explore that. And then find out that the Force didn't make them. The others, the witches got together, the power of all that crap, manipulated the Force to make them. So the Force didn't make them. Therefore, they wouldn't be the prophecy. That's where they could get fooled, and then you could build a story around that. But no, let's just not. Maybe. Let's just be lazy and incomplacent,
Yeah. So we're back on the ship. We're on our way back to Coruscant. Obviously, Indara is disappointed in Sol and Tobin. Can't believe they disobeyed an order, ran out. Actually, even Sol and Indara get into a little bit of a quarrel. They're kind of not hitting each other, but they get a little tussle, right? Because they're both frustrated with each other. And Tobin, to stop them from fighting, he interrupts and he's like, "What will we tell the council? We need to tell them something." And she says the truth, like basically 90% of the truth, which
is a lie.
I have to ask, just because, what was so bad with 100% of the truth?
Yeah,
I really like that's like that is the question I had when she was like, tell them the truth, and then she starts breaking it down to where she kind of leaves, like, technically they're telling them the truth, but she kind of leaves some plot holes in there. And to me, it's like, what did the Jedi do that were so bad? I mean, Sol, Tobin, they're going to get their hands slapped. Yeah, the Jedi are definitely going to be like, hey, you guys did some things that aren't so good. Maybe you need to go back to training, But I don't see where the Jedi, when they find out the truth about Osha, why they would be like, nope, she's too old. Can't deal with her. They look at her midichlorians count. They know she's a twin of a clone that would be, they know from the witches she had no father, so she must have been created somehow from the Force. You don't think they would have investigated her and, like, I don't know, kept her close by and studied her? There was no reason for the Jedi, or at least this small team here, to keep it secret. There was nothing that they did that was so unbelievably wrong, that was so insanely against the Jedi, that they couldn't, like, granted, Sol felt guilty that he killed Anestia. But at the same time, Anestia was doing something that kind of made him have to react.
Yeah, she provoked it. She, like, you saw her, like, draining the mist or energy from May. It looked evil because she looked like a ghoul, scary thing. Like, what was he supposed to think? The witches had arrows on them. Like, who was beating the aggressor were the witches from the get-go. So how is he supposed to, like, handle that situation? It's kind of like pointing a gun at a cop when they ask you to, like, put your hands up and not expecting them to react. You don't do stupid shit like that. This was stupid shit that the witches do, and, like, it was just, I mean, you guys tell me, am I wrong? Like, do you feel like the Jedi did something so awful here that was completely beneath them? It will ruin everyone's life involved and the Jedi involved in it if they just didn't flat out tell the entire truth of the story? No, they'd be fine. Because literally, like you said, she transformed into, we watch Super Sentai. We know what happens when someone transforms. Ish is about to go down, right? So she's like, Jedi didn't do anything wrong in this whole thing. If anything, they were confused and trying to figure it out. Made some decisions to show up, maybe in a bad way, but they didn't do anything. All the fire, the provocation of like physical violence, that was all the witches actually. And it wasn't even them as a team that came up with it. It was more like Korra. Then all of a sudden, last minute, they're all like, "Yeah, we're on board." And then when they die, they, the Jedi should have just told the whole truth, or that whole thing. Oh, and also the Jedi, like Soul and Trinity Jedi. I think that physical like altercation thing that came out of nowhere. It was uncalled for and made no sense either. With how physical they got in each other's faces, I'm like, what?
To me, that was like when they did have that little tussle between Indara and Soul. That was like the one part of like. So once again, Soul is acting out in a way that is un-Jedi-like, but I didn't.
So is Trinity.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah, she's been a horrible Jedi Master as well. This is all crap, dude. I love what Take It or Leave It says here. Didn't someone tell Osha you have to tell the courage? You have to have the courage to be honest. What?
Right?
A few episodes earlier, what's going on here? There was nothing.
That's a constant theme with the show.
Exactly. Flip flop, flip flop, flip flop. This is bullshit, Trey. It's insane, man. Like, the truth should have been always told 100% to the 100% to the Jedi Council. And guess what? There's nothing that they did that was incredibly wrong. There was some mistakes that were made, sure, but I think it would have been learning opportunities for these Jedis, and maybe Jedi Padawan Torben wouldn't be so effed up in the head, later on in the years following these events. Konaka maybe not so messed up in the head, but they saw how how they went about this. So, one, I don't think there would have been any consequences if. Major consequences if the Jedi's told 100% of the truth. But here's where I get even more pissed off with this portion of the story, Trey. They went back. They told the council who would have been Grand Master Jedi, Master Yoda. He should be in around this
Yoda
time.
would be on the High Council, yeah.
Yes, he would be on the High Council. And, they're telling him this story, and Yoda doesn't say to him, tell the truth, you are not, to them. Like, he would have been able to sense that there's something that they're holding back from him, just like he does with everybody else that he talks to, what's going on here? He would have investigated it a little bit more. So now they're making the council, the High Council, look like assholes, like they don't know anything that's going on. And it's just all so stupid, bro.
I agree. Guys, I did put a poll into the chat asking, were the Jedi wrong? Tell us. Replay crew, obviously.
Well, what do you mean by the Jedi? Were the Jedi? Are you talking about their decision to not tell the truth?
Yeah, we're like, did this episode prove the Jedi are evil? It's not about good versus evil. It's not light or dark. It's a matter of whose side you're on. Were the Jedi completely in the wrong here in episode 7? Did they make the worst call in the world by not literally just be blunt about it? Are the Jedi in the wrong? Are they really worth the fact that May is after them, was after them, wants to kill them? Like, does it just warrant this whole idea, what they've been going with? The root of this show is that the Jedi aren't exactly the good guys in this situation. They're just the big dogs on top.
But wait a second, Trey. I'm confused now. I'm really confused by what you just said. May went after the Jedi and everything like that because she knows that they killed their moms and the witches and everything like that. You know, they attacked them and everything like that. But wait a second. Didn't I just want to like rejoin the Jedi, you know, try to, you know, be on their side a few episodes ago?
Mm-hmm.
I'll just turn myself in because I'm loyal to my sister, and I'll
and how she turns herself in is attack people with blades and
Exactly.
you know, switching it. And
I believe the Jedi are going to give me a fair trial for what I've been doing. You know, like, hey, damn, they're stupid. This whole writers, man. Leslie Headland sucks.
Yeah.
So one thing that has been kind of blowing up social media, and here's the funny part. I didn't actually know about this because when the episode was done, I was so fed up with it that I didn't even bother listening to the credits. I just exited out. Boom. I was like, whatever. I'm done with this. I spent too much time on this freaking show as is. But a lot of people are talking about this Power of Many song that was playing in the credits. Have you guys listened to it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, no, they played the song there?
It was a pop tune, like literally like modern day pulp, you know.
Like Taylor Swift and, you know.
Kind of like Rihanna kind of thing going on.
Sure,
What?
I heard that and I audibly said,
what the fuck is this piece of shit?
I literally said, what the Jerry? It was insane. I was like, what is going on right now? This is exactly the Star Wars that Leslie Headland wanted. This stupid shit.
Yeah. I agree. I mean,
that song sucks, yo.
I listened to it and I was like, okay, I see what the lyrics are trying to convey, what they're trying to be poetic about in a way, but I was like, as someone who wants to be a music composer, this is where I understand the criticisms and the anger towards this. Music, and anyone who doesn't understand this, I feel like doesn't how do I say this in a way that won't be
just torch it, Trey.
I'll just put it this way. I think anyone who says this is a stupid thing to be upset about, I think you don't understand the importance of music and the stories that they're attached to, like music composition, songwriting for movies, TV shows. They develop languages for these shows, for these movies, for these universes, right? It's why anytime you see a James Bond movie, the soundtrack sounds pretty much the same just about every time. Every time you see a Jurassic Park movie, the soundtrack sounds about the same pretty much every time. It becomes a musical language and overarching theme that helps transport you into this world, into this galaxy, this universe. So when you hear something that is clearly like, whoa, that is not Star Wars. Koji, I think you actually brought this up on a previous episode where you're kind of like, episode 3.
Oh yeah, singing in English.
The Powers 2, singing in English. Star Wars has had kind of jazzy pulp songs in it, but the difference of it is it's been given an alien feel to it,
or some foreign language, non-English. Yeah,
foreign language to make it feel like it's not of this earth. But when you come out with a song that was literally made for iTunes just to be like, let's go to EDM concert, let's bounce to it. I completely understand why people are like, what the hell is this shit?
Because I think they're trying to use the lyrics to, advertise more Disney, Power of 1, think a big circle. Power of 2, cut that circle in half. It's 2 other circles. That's Disney's face. And then Power of Many, it's that Disney logo going over. So maybe the song really is Power of 1, the Power of 2, the Power of Disney. They're just trying to do, promote that really. And I like the dual fates. And even like, when they do the jazzy stuff and they have the aliens sing, some language that doesn't make sense. They're like, I'm here. I'm like, yeah, let's bump that shit. So yeah. I still like Laughing Neck better, but same point. It stayed in the universe. So when you hear something in English where it's like, the wheels on the bus go round and round. You're like, dang, this sucks. This hurts.
Do you know what it kind of reminded me of? The song, like I think the thing that kind of weirded me out about the song is, it's talking about the twins, yet it has once again this sensual vibe of like, I need a gangster, from those are the vibes I was getting. I was like, it was creepy, man. Like, I was like, what the hell am I listening to?
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, and like I see, like I said, social media is like going on and on about how this is just like, what are you doing, Disney? Like, clearly, to me, what it's more proof of, like, take the song. I kind of agree with Oracle. Take the song by itself. Don't throw the Star Wars thing on it at all. It's a good song.
Sure.
The problem is you threw it into Star Wars, and therefore it felt unauthentic. It felt forced. It felt like, the truth is, it was more proof that the people making this show are not Star Wars fans.
No.
There are people who got a job with one of the biggest IPs out there and said, how do I make it my own? So I don't know. It's a little ridiculous to.
Maybe that's the Disney way. Maybe this is the first attempt to shoehorn their fairy tale reboot princess type of stuff. Not to, they have that, but maybe they want to make Star Wars a musical one day, Maybe there's going to be like, maybe in the Rey Skywalker series, he'll be like, look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Don't you think my metachlorians are complete? Maybe they're going to do some, stuff to sell more CDs, turn into a musical thing. It's like, hey, be Jedi, be Sith. They're all cool. Buy our products. Da. So
yeah, it was very much like,
they're not really
buy the song
thinking
on
of story.
iTunes from us,
Yeah. It's like, be a witch. Yeah. I don't know. It's
guys, as we start to come towards the end, obviously it ends with Soul telling Osha when she awakes the 90% truth of the story. Kamir will obviously give his take probably to Osha when, in May, when Soul tells her the truth. But what would you score this episode? Killjoy.
I'll give it a good old 2.8. That was hard.
2.8. Okay. If you had to say something nice about the episode, Koj, just for the people that say we want to hate on it, what gave you the almost 3 points?
Almost 3 points. Well, we'll give it the points is, man, the set direction, the costumes, I feel like the only ones putting love into this show that care about Star Wars is the grunt team or the art direction team. I mean, the lighting crew is really good. They have this really cinematic thing of how they light it. I appreciate that. All the sets and everything feels like Star Wars. Like, I wish I had this production to shoot like my own fan-made Star Wars show. So the quality of the art around them is on point. Okay. Other than that, everything else looks like a weird, dark, satirical parody at the expense of Star Wars to tell a different story that someone probably thinks wouldn't survive on its own. So they needed to put their story in 2 cents into something that's already established with the franchise and fan base. And because it's not feeling like Star Wars, it doesn't feel like it's expanding it. And those plot holes, the constant changing, the 180s, the lack of motive and understanding what drives these characters to get us to an end game climax is not even there. Like, I don't even know what we're gunning for the final episode. You know, everyone's so apart, and then they're all still figuring out more story. That's more plot holes of what drove him here in the beginning. It's just really lost. I have no idea what's going on with the last episode. I was just like, I just love hanging with you guys. That's the extra part, because
that's been the only fun part
awesome.
of these streams so far. Is just being with you guys. I can feel that this show is probably the reason why I've been sick for so long. I'm gonna start blaming it on this show. Disney, you owe me cough drops.
Yeah, because you know,
I
after
don't
this
trust,
is like,
I don't trust your cough drops. I don't want them. Super Bro Courtney,
Yeah.
what's your flames, bud?
You know what? I'm going to give this episode a round of applause. You guys are surprised about that, huh?
Yeah.
You guys have officially made a character or an actor that I enjoy in many other genres, movies, television shows. Absolutely love and adore. You made me hate him in a single episode. Straight up hate Master Soul. Like he's an idiot now. Like you've completely lost all excitement for Master Soul for me, because you ruined him in this episode. Straight, you've been on a downward slope with Master Soul, and I haven't been appreciating. Now you just freaking ruined him. You just threw him in the trash. This fantastic character, and great job, Disney. Great job. This is by far the worst episode of this series. I think the other episode that we rated pretty badly was episode 3. And in an 8-episode season, you make me watch the behind the scenes version of bullshit episode 3 once again. Like this, 180 million some shit for this freaking television series, and you're repeating pretty much episode 3, and back to this just straight garbage of an episode. They ruined the Jedi even more. They ruined a lot of the aspects of this. I think my lowest rating so far was a -10 somewhere. I talked to Trey about, in my -20 and my -100. I don't freaking know. This shit is just garbage, bro. It's absolutely garbage. I since I was debating on back and forth of -20 or -100, I saw the Butler put -100 there, so I'm going to be right there with it, Butler. -100 for this show. I would not encourage anybody to watch this episode or the show. And you've got me to the point where you pissed me off about Master Soul, but now you're, pissing me off about other things within Disney. I already disliked you after, hearing some of the things that you've been saying, creator Leslie Headland, as well as your writers, because your writers are trash. But now you got me questioning Dave Filoni. I don't know if I trust Dave Filoni with Star Wars anymore. That thought is coming into my mind, and I love the Clone Wars. So now, you are completely ruining Star Wars, Disney. You're going down a path I cannot follow, and it's just straight garbage. -100 for this episode. Let's get this next episode over with, review done, and when we get into our Dave Filoni talk, I think it's time to start reaching out to Dave Filoni like we have been with James Gunn, and letting him know our displeasure with the Acolyte, so we don't have to have a repeat incident of this bullshit.
Yeah. Wow.
That was fire.
Gold speed, man. Damn, Corey. What to score this show? What to score this episode?
You probably should have scored before me.
I was being nice at my score.
Man. I said after our watch party that I was like, if you guys have watched our show before, you've heard me say that like one of the my worst traits is like I have to finish a story. I have to know what happens. It's that that obsession that I need to know. I need to know what it goes to, where the story ends up. I don't really care. After this episode, I really don't care. And that's like, to me, that's nuts. Imagine me saying this. Like, someone who watched the trailers and was immediate like, dude, the Acolyte's gonna be sick. This is gonna be great. I can't wait.
I was right there with you, buddy. We were so excited. We were excited for the Master's Soul. So excited. I want a refund, damn it. This is bullshit.
Right, yeah. At this point, is it worth just completely unsubscribing to Disney Plus to make a statement? I mean, I do own all the Star Wars movies that I want. The only thing they do have that I would be really depressed to not have anymore is Clone Wars and Bad Batch and Rebels. And I'd be sad about some of the episodes of Mandalorian. Andor, I'd be sad about Andor. So I mean, there's Disney Plus has some Star Wars stuff that I will happily watch again. I'll put it this way: I would much rather watch the debacle of Book of Boba Fett than this shit. I would rather watch all of the other Star Wars shows that have come before that are not all that great. Hell, I would rather watch the last season of Mandalorian that was kind of like didn't quite nail it. You know, it's just I don't even know what to. I'm like Corey. I don't even know what to score this anymore.
Are they doing this to sabotage to Jung Jae Lee because he's like freaking successful on Netflix with Squid Game?
I hope.
Are they doing this against Trinity because she's Matrix and that's Warner Brothers thing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Are they? Is there some spiteful that they use all that money to bring us low quality?
Well, I mean, I've heard them talk about the actors like Leslie Headland say like they did a whole thing about Jung Jae Lee and how they were excited to have him because of Squid Games and the popularity he brings.
This goes back to what we've talked about numerous times before, where an agenda is being pushed down our throat, and they want us to question whether the Jedi are good or the Jedi are bad. That there's this gray zone that we really can't tell apart, and they focus so much on this agenda storyline that their writing has incredibly suffered, and the show has been straight trash because they're trying to push the theme to us.
You know what would have been better? I'm actually glad you brought that up, Corey. This show would have been far superior if they wrote it simply for the perspective of either the Sith Master, Khmer, or the Acolyte. May. Wrote it simply from their perspective of how they view the Jedi. Because then you're going at it from it's a biased perspective, right? The audience is trying so hard, like have us believe, oh my god, like what if we're about to see something that ruins the Jedi here? And then the reveal be that really it's just the Sith making up a story, trying to persuade people on a false truth, something that didn't even happen the way it went down. That there's this, here's what really went down, and there's no question about it. Because, and the reason why I say that is like, there's too much inconsistencies with the show, with all of the characters, all of them. And when you have the writers viewing it through everyone's perspective, that pretty much the Jedi are shady as, and we're seeing this reveal of this most shocking moment about how they're terrible, and it's supposed to be how the Jedi are not good, and you've just left me with where were they wrong? I kind of feel like they were warned in their fight against the witches because the witches made the first aggression in every instance. So I was like, if I'm watching this and I'm in a freaking court case right now, do some of those Jedi need some extra training? Yeah, sure.
They held back because I would have crushed the witches immediately.
Corey would have gone about it the Sith way. They're lucky Sith Darth Superbro wasn't there. But God, what did I give it? Just for now, because like I said, I'm just done with the show. The only reason why we'll do a finale watch party and breakdown is to simply finish it with you guys, finish this series of shows, because we're right there. Maybe they'll blow our minds with the finale.
True.
I keep
True.
saying that every
That's a
episode.
good question. What are the
True.
chances that they'll save it or not?
They won't. Unless this next episode is a damn 2.5-hour movie feature, episode, they're not going to be able to tie up all these loose ends. I still don't understand completely why Khmer is, went to the dark side. I'm sure they're going to try to tell us that portion of it all, but if you're going to try to
They're
tell
probably
us
gonna
that
save that shit for season 2.
exactly, they're not going to be able to wrap it up enough. Their poor writing, and maybe they do wrap it up poor enough, and they just forget that shit happened earlier in a season that we need answers to. Maybe we don't care about the answers. They're not going to be able to wrap this all up. We're going to be on some kind of cliffhanger that leads to a season 2, and we need to tell Dave Filoni this shit.
Every episode is a anticlimactic left turn, unwarranted cliffhanger.
Right? I mean, especially for like something that this is supposed to build up to the finale, right? Like you're supposed to be like, oh shit, here we go, it's about to go down.
Or how are we going to get out of this one?
Yeah, and here we're kind of just left with, okay. I'm just going to say, I'm going to give it a rookie score because it's rookie writing. I'm just going to give it a 1.
Nice.
Just going to give it a 1. Once I see how the finale is, we'll adjust our scores again. I won't rewatch it though.
Congratulations, Leslie Helen. Congratulations, Disney. Congratulations, Star Wars. You just made TBC Trey of the Bad Channel give his lowest show score ever.
Oh, really?
I don't think you've given a 1. Right.
I've never heard you say a 1.
And here's the point that I'd like to get into this more with you, Trey, and kind of moving on to like the Dave Filoni side of things. What they've done here is more egregious in an attack to an IP than what I've ever seen before. I would tell you that the Poohverse Blood and Honey is better than this garbage that we're watching.
Corey,
and
I would actually agree with you on that.
And here's the reason why too, because unfortunately, Winnie the Pooh is an open IP now. Disney to approve this garbage and bullshit, bro. Winnie the Pooh, they're able to do whatever the hell they want now. Leslie Helen said in an interview that these are not George Lucas's Jedi. Wrong. Yes, they're not his Jedi, but wrong. They are his Jedi in the sense that he created this IP. He created this IP. You're messing with his IP, and I don't like what you're doing with them. This is straight garbage, straight.
I agree. I mean, it's getting tough to. I said it in the mid-season, like where I was just like, this is getting hard to watch. Like I don't have motivation to continue watching this anymore. And that's what this episode did. I literally lacked the motivation. I'm really just there for you guys, there to watch, but I don't like talking shit about anything. I would like to be positive. I would like to watch something that makes me happy, like when we did Super Sentai with Kojay and some of the South Korean films he showed us recently. Hell, I would rather watch all the Godzilla movies over this shit and just do watch parties of that. But we got to finish. We're there. We're at the finale. We got to finish. So,
another thing is like what they're failing at is that they don't understand Star Wars. This is clear. I've heard debates. We see debates, and what they're going against, what has already been pre-established, is the core meaning of what you're trying to tell with Star Wars, or in the world of Star Wars, and to try and, because it always stuck with me when you said, one of the actors said, it's about like sides. It's not about good and evil, right?
Yeah, it's about which side you're on.
Yeah, that is totally disrupting the whole core of what's going on in the world and the whole point of this fictional world. And when you tell a compelling story, and traditionally every myth and fairy tale does tell a story of good and evil, you know, right and wrong. So when you remove that, you're removing the core DNA or structure, infrastructure of this world and saying, okay, there's evil and bad on all sides. Both sides are equal. You're taking away the theme of knowing the difference of what's right and wrong. And that has nothing to do with judgment of a demographic of people or sides. When you take morality into okay, like someone kills someone, that's wrong. You know that. But if you look at someone killing them, you're like, well, maybe the killer had a point. Then you take good and evil and you put them all at a side-based thing, and then you take the morality of doing what's right and wrong and you turn that into something that's debatable. So the bad can actually win and get away with stuff. So if you advertise that it's about sides and it's not about morality, right and wrong, then you're conditioning people to accept wrong things happening. I don't know what I'm doing here. Good is here, bad is here. Then you're accepting wrong things happening as a good. Then if you could advertise that to people, then you're advertising that you could sell people on propaganda. You could sell people on, you know, it doesn't matter if you're hurting people or it doesn't matter if you're helping people. It's whatever side you're on. It's essentially whatever side wins, whatever side pleases you. That logic is a Sith logic. So, and you can go outside of that. You can go into reality and understand what's right and wrong. Even in an atheistic, scientific way, it's wrong to hurt people, you know?
Yeah.
But, so if you advertise that morality is not really a thing, it's about sides, it's about winning sides, then it's not about what's right and wrong. It's about whatever's popular. And whatever's popular is whatever you can sell that people will buy, and has nothing to do with what's right and wrong and good, or what you should do, what you should strive to, how you should treat other people. That theme is then gone. Then it just becomes material. It becomes just, you know, a tool. There's no meaning, and you could just buy into any other thing and then buy more merchandise. Pretty much you're taking out anything deep that you could apply in real life, apply in your own life, apply with how to treat people better. Even though there's fictional things, we could always take a story of like, how can I better myself, or what is right and wrong, and apply that to real life for betterment of society. But no, we'd rather sell product, and to better sell product, kill morality. That's what I get with this whole thing going on, because Disney has lost it. You see, I shared with you this clip where George Lucas is talking about democracy turning into dictatorship, and how that happened in the prequel trilogy, and how deep Star Wars is with that. And Kathleen Kennedy is right next to him, and she's like, yeah, totally not getting anything from what he's saying. And that's the Disney Star Wars we have. That's the killing of the message. And now they're probably just trying to kill the messenger and turn it into a product you can just buy. And then all meaning is gone. And then when you try and tell a story that's supposed to be compelling, you have nothing to go for, because there's no point. There's no heart. And that's the tragedy. And I think we're seeing it in full with Acolyte.
Man, that's... I really appreciate that, Cody. That I think is a perfect example about everything that is wrong with the story. I've heard from the few who are like, a black and white story is not compelling. It's not complex enough. We need those shades of gray, because that's more interesting storytelling. And to me, it's like,
and you can. Andor's doing that perfectly.
Exactly. And it's not, honestly, it's not even so much about the complexities of it. It's just the quality of telling that story, executing it efficiently without losing what Star Wars or whatever that IP is. Because the truth of it is, if you continue with this idea with all the IPs, imagine Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and just J.R.R. Tolkien's universe, and saying Sauron and Morgoth were just misunderstood. It's just a matter of whose side they're on. The orcs aren't bad. The orcs, they're raving and killing all the villagers and stuff like that. Total domination of the world because they're oppressed, because they're orcs and people don't like their species. Imagine telling that story
And that Aragorn is actually racist towards the orcs, sexist towards the whatever. However,
and what would that do? That would justify the whole point of what the orcs did. Case in point,
Exactly.
orcs slaughtering villages, men, women, and children. That would say that stuff is justified. Who's that benefit? Governments and corporations that are for that.
And to me, that's where it goes. Do you really want that type of storytelling? And not with this IP. Do it somewhere else. Do it where maybe that's expected. Put the realism of our world and our society and reflect it back.
But
Sure,
that's the
go
thing,
ahead.
they can't, because that's bad. Bad stuff won't fly. It won't fly. So you have to hijack something that's already established, something that's already loved, something that's already known, and shoehorn it into there and accept people.
Great point.
buy it.
They kind of did that with Gareth Edwards' most recent movie, The Creator. Yeah,
There you go.
that's great point. That was a brand new idea that added that complexity of who is good, who is bad in a sci-fi realm, and that movie didn't do well in the box office. People didn't care to see it. So it's like they're exactly that, to push those stories, to push those complexities. They're doing it with beloved IPs, and it's fans are retaliating. We're pissed.
Yeah, because essentially we're born to be good. Everyone's good. It takes a lot of malicious intelligence and to try and sell something bad as awesome or
I
good or
agree.
just. And
I'm gonna end our
people won't
poll
try.
here real quick
Yeah, I'm
and
curious to
see
hear
what is
people
said.
say. Are the Jedi the bad guys?
Okay.
On our audience?
So we're the Jedi in the wrong. 12% say yes, Jedi are evil. This is proof. 25% say all are to blame. So there's no right or wrong. There was just bad situation. And then 62, the majority percent said no, the witches provoked them.
Mm-hmm.
So the majority of
my
your
vote.
audience is not getting it. They're not picking up what you're trying to say. The very essence, the goal, the mission that you, Leslie Headland, and your writers of this show were trying to push with that, it's not about whose side you're on, or there's no good, there's no evil. It's about the choices you make, the sides you're on. There's no good, there's no evil. And yet your audience is not getting it. They're still going like, well, no, like the way you wrote that out, the Jedi are still not wrong here. So you failed at your very mission that you were trying to write. We'll see what you do the season finale, but I don't think you're going to be able to fix it in 40 minutes. Good luck. We'll let you know. We'll let you know how we feel about it.
Could I play the audio of George Lucas?
Yeah, sure. Do you have it?
Yeah, I'll just put it to my mic.
Let's
Or what?
I was about to say, is it a video or do you want to?
Yeah, it's a YouTube link to it.
I have the Instagram link.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, it's the one I sent you guys in our little Sentai chat.
Is it just a voiceover or is it?
No, I could play just the voice, but it's the clip of. It's the
send
one
clip
in.
and we'll play your clip.
Yeah.
That you, I remember.
While
I know
you're
what you're
doing
talking
that,
about, but
yeah.
Oh, I was
what
just
you're
gonna play
talking
the
about.
audio. I don't know how you guys roll.
Yeah, let's send it.
I sent it to you. But yeah, because I love what George Lucas goes, and this is after he sold it to Star Wars, because the whole point of I think George, because look at how he told the story of how the Empire came into power with all the manipulation and Palpatine playing the right people, and then engaging this war on the side as a Sith, so he can get the funding for military and everything's there. And then with propaganda on the streets, by the time Revenge of the Sith happened, and then Padme has one of the coolest lines in cinematic history for me, and she's like, "And that's how democracy dies, with thunderous applause."
I love that's such a
powerful... that was so powerful. That's deep. That took Star Wars on deep, heavy. Oh, so good. And then you see what corporations do with franchises to dumb things down, simplify, or just get the villains a little bit nicer. It's almost like they're trying to get rid of our concept for morality and what's right and wrong, just to buy whatever new direction they want to sell you in to gain whatever they want from you. Either buy more of this product, spend here, control your thoughts here, not over here where it should be, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah. And I think the other thing, Trey, too, is I'm just going to tell you right now, you shouldn't expect that this is going to be fixed, because this is agenda driven and nothing more than that. This is not going to be fixed. I might be negative $1 million by next episode, you know, but I'll go into it fresh, but you know, I don't see how they can possibly fix this. I have it here. Let me bring up Kojay's video that he sent.
And then, Corey, I think we need did we do scores yet?
Yeah, we did scores.
Okay,
but then not with the chat.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
All right.
There it is.
Let me pop it up. I'm gonna hit this one. That's great. All right. Here we go. We'll go to the next one. That's freaking hilarious.
How do democracies turn back into dictatorships? Why do people who have the power to have the freedom and everything turn it over to somebody who's going to take it all away from them? It's happened through history forever and ever. And all Star Wars is a way of updating that idea to say, watch out, because there are people out there who don't play by the rules. And if you're not careful, you're going to lose all your freedom. How do democracies turn back into dictatorships?
That is so powerful.
Why do people who have the power to have the freedom and everything turn it over to somebody who's going to take it all away from them? It's happened through history forever and ever. And all Star Wars is a way of updating that idea to say, watch out, because there are people out there who don't play by the rules. And if you're not careful, you're going to lose all your freedom.
And if you're not careful, you're going to lose all your freedom.
Mm-hmm. And I feel Disney is a catalyst using Star Wars to attain that for whatever reasons.
Yeah.
Disney Star Wars.
Damn. If there's one thing, and to see, this is the sad part, is George had ideas for the sequel trilogy and what they were going to do next, and people pushed him out with their reaction to the prequel trilogy. And it's in a way, you get what you asked for, Star Wars fans. You wanted George out, he's out. This is what you get.
And there's a lesson for us all in a way, but you know, that's why even more so as fans, we should always be vocal. The fact that we do these shows on our channels and we voice our opinion is powerful and monumental.
Yeah. Which, if
we are not standing idly by.
Replay crew, if you watch a content creator that is really enjoying the Acolyte, that has like some reasonings that like kind of intrigue you, send us a link, because I'm just curious to see. Majority of my friends in the community, I haven't heard one person say a good thing about it. We are all kind of in agreement that it's just been.
Personally, I have one friend who liked it, but they don't like George Lucas, and they think the classic Star Wars is just okay, and they despise the prequel trilogies. So,
okay, well,
probably
fair.
those fans out there.
Yeah, that's certainly possible. I mean, there's people that love the sequel trilogy, and I can't get behind those movies. They didn't really do anything for me.
But maybe some people like something in spite of something they don't like about the original or core of what it is. Some people like to see things fall apart or see things twisted in a different way to take away from whatever message was originally there.
True.
We need the poo.
Corey, can you give us the chat scores? What was the scores for?
Yeah, Oracle's Clock Tower started us off with a super high score of 1.2. Negative 2.8 from Red Hooded Outlaw, a 2.2 from Beyond the Night, a negative 100 from The Butler, Carrie Kelly with a 2.4, a 1.9 from The Batman Who Laughs, a 0.2 from Nine Lives in Hell here, 1.3 out of 10 from Joker's Wild, a 1.7 from Kaiji Crazy Craig Rowland. I love this next one. All hope is lost out of 10. Take it or leave it.
So what are you saying? Like, we need someone. We're like, help us. You're our only help.
2.1 from Wayne Enterprises. A 0 for me from King Donkey Kong. I'm a solid 1 out of 10 from Trevor H. 2.4 from Atomic Kaiji 1954 Akio Lee. 2.4 from hashtag Restore the Snyderverse Guy. 1.5 from Red Robin. 2.6 from Bat Fanatic. A 1.3 from Dean Classified. Monarch Eyes Only. I think that was the last score. So let me review them again.
Yo, I had the highest score.
You were the highest scorer. Yeah.
And even Koji said he's given the benefit.
It was like
of the doubt.
2.8. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So no one was above a 3.
I just couldn't give it a 3. It felt wrong to give it a 3.
Yeah. I just I don't know. Well, Koji. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Corey.
Are you, I was going to say, like I mentioned earlier that I'm getting to the point where
you're nervous about Dave Filoni.
I'm getting a little nervous about Dave Filoni. We're seeing some upcoming additional Ray stories as well coming and everything like that.
Yeah.
Is it time to start to hit the yellow caution flag right now on Dave Filoni?
Let's wait on the Dave Filoni. I think we should do the Dave Filoni as part of a separate episode. As a separate episode that after we've seen all the Acolyte, and we need to know how they end it. I need to do some research on the Dave Filoni thing too. I want to look when he exactly became the president of LucasArts, or the creative chief officer, I think is technically his role, and to see when the Acolyte went in production. Because if I recall, I think Acolyte was already in production, so his approval meant nothing back then.
But he did.
His position kind of means not really much, because there's also another group that control all decisions in Disney.
Exactly. And my opinion,
maybe he has to play nice to maintain his seat.
Exactly. And Kathleen Kennedy is technically still his boss, and just listening to her talk,
the hell out of here.
I see what she wants to do with Star Wars, what she thinks about Star Wars. And my thing is, when Dave Filoni is in control, when he's the creator of the show, you get shows like Clone Wars. You get shows like Bad Batch. You get shows like Rebels. You get shows like Mandalorian with the other director, Jon Favreau.
Robert Rodriguez did stuff too, right?
And Robert Rodriguez with Book of Boba Fett. You start to see Star Wars when Filoni is directly involved. He's the writer. He's not the writer on this one. I think he has to play nice. So we'll talk about that at another time. That's a great debate episode that we've could definitely do. Does Acolyte raise concerns about Dave Filoni's role in Star Wars?
Also, I noticed when there's more higher build actors, there's more meddling vibes, I feel.
Yeah. Koji, what do you got coming up on the show, dude?
Just planning up my next watch party with you guys, Train to Busan and more Super Sentai. I'm making more opinion stuff, and then my video game content is going to be limited, but more quality based. I'm doing what's called movie cuts, where I just cut the gameplay if I'm not commentating along with it. So that fun stuff, and I'm trying to do some more other themed series, either slices of my life and stories I'm writing, all in good time. But yeah, that's where you can find me, and more cool watch parties on the way. Just look out for my posts on when to check them out, because we always have a good time. I love when the battalion shows up, because y'all have like similar tastes and appreciation for films, and I'm really excited to see your first reactions to some films you haven't seen, and we'll get to stuff along the way of other stuff that I feel deserves more shine. And yeah, that's all I'm about, and I'm excited for all that stuff coming through. Hope to see you there.
Yes, guys, you already know what to do. Subscribe to our boy Koji in his channel, man. Dude, I can't wait for some of those watch parties, especially that zombie one that to a trailer to. I was like, ooh, that looks good. And more Super Sentai. Like, come on. I'm halfway through Dino Thunder right now. So I'm excited to get started. I'm almost there. When I've been sick, that's been the show that I've been watching to get ready.
I'm excited for this.
And I'm curious because I realize that Dino Thunder is very dependent on its human cast, like without like just seeing them in the suit. So I'm like,
well, really,
I'm curious to see how they're different with it being the original with Ava Ranger, but we'll have to see.
Yeah. Ugh, I'm excited. Yeah.
And then for tomorrow, guys, yes, we have our Twister watch party from 1996. All of our super chats are going to go to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund that actually Universal Studios is teaming up with for the new Twisters movie that comes out next weekend, July 19th. So please invite everyone to this watch party because I'm hoping we can raise some good money to a great cause. All the super chats we get from you, the moment YouTube sends us a check, we'll send it into the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund. So if you feel it, chase it. So guys, I just want to say thank you so much, seriously, for spending time with us, to being patient while I've been sick and haven't been able to get out all the shows that we've talked about in the episodes. And I feel like I'm starting to get a little better in my throat. As you can hear, my voice is still kind of weak. Doing a lot of cough drops. So I appreciate you guys sticking it with us, being here, always showing up. The battalion, as always, you guys are the best. I heard, I think Avengers Rising is about to do a live stream, so check out their show. I'll have to tune in as well. But and subscribe to Koj.
Subscribe to the Bat Channel.
Hey guys, we appreciate you. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow and Tuesday for our Acolyte watch party for the season finale. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe it's 40 minutes worthwhile. Who knows? But we love you. Be kind to each other. Replay crew, comment down below what you guys thought of Acolyte episode 7. Love to hear your guys' thoughts. Thank you so much. I am your host, Trey, with Koj and our boy Super Bro Corey. And don't forget to tune in weekly.
Same bat time.
Same bat channel. See you later, guys. And of course,
see you later.
Always.
What are you going to tell me next? That you said Kevin's altar on fire? Oh my God.
Well, it wasn't intentional. I was chasing Jinx up onto the roof. I had a smoke, and I think I might have lit something that... I don't know what happened. He put so much goddamn lacquer on that thing. It was an accident waiting to happen.